Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, brothers?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, good. So today's topic of the podcast is going to be how to basically achieve a 90 plus ATAR and some of the tips and advice that we don't hear much from basically the students, you know. So inshallah we'll get a different insight today from people all from different schools, all right? So inshallah I'm going to start by you. So just introduce yourself. Tell me.
Assalamu alaikum. My name's Goss. Graduated 2023 with a 97.15 ATAR. Used to go Suzanne Corey High School and
Assalam. My name's Ali. I graduated 2022 at Wyndham Central College. I got a 93.15 studying at Melbourne Uni.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Anas. I graduated in 2022 from Homestead Senior Secondary and I got a 93 ATAR.
Inshallah. So basically they're all above 90 as you can see. And I'm going to start with the main question here. Was it worth it?
yeah.
I would agree. It is worth getting a high ATAR because of the social constructs people have put in place. You know, everyone thinks that I need to get this ATAR. People at this ATAR are probably like really smart, blah, blah, blah. It's not true. But people's reactions to it are true. And that's what actually counts.
I would say it's worth it, not for the reasons everyone thinks of, but because more opportunity comes out from what you think it is, not just the normal making it in university and stuff, but I'm sure we'll get onto that later on.
Inshallah. So, you know, there's a lot of people now in high school, all right? And basically they all want to do good, 80, 90, 70, some people 70. But basically they all aim to get 90 in like this kind of area. So one of the main questions I'll start with was, do you think that if a person did bad in year 11 or bad in year 10, do you think they still have a chance to achieve a 90 plus? Do you think that's still there? The opportunity is still there?
I mean, yeah, 100%. Because like my averages in like year 10, year 11 were like real low. Like we're talking like 50s, 60s. Chemistry, I didn't even pass year 11.
Yeah.
But then obviously like it's all about the effort you put into year 12 because you need to have a goal set in your mind. So for me, I needed 95 at ATAR. I said, no, I'm getting that 99. If I don't, then okay, life goes on, you know what I mean? But always set your goal higher than your expectation.
In year 10, I did horrific, right? COVID, so I did nothing at all. They gave me my English report back and they said I did better in year 9 than I did in year 10. So I was horrific. I did nothing. Year 11 as well, I did almost nothing. I was pretty much just slacking off. But going into year 12, I knew this is my year, this is my chance. I need to hit the ground running from the start. And I took that momentum with me and luckily I was able to graduate really well. But it's not only how you did in year 10, year 11, it's that mindset. Just because you're saying, oh, in year 12 I'll do better, in year 12 I'll do better, that ain't enough. You need to know that you have it within you and believe in yourself from the go. You can't be like, oh, year 12 I'll switch it up, I'll be better. Nah, you got to be that person. You got to do it.
Yep, I would say same here. In my opinion, I did pretty bad in year 10 to the point where the assistant principal said I wasn't allowed to do a year 12 subject in year 11.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. What subject was that?
That was biology. I wanted to do it in year 11, but obviously I just ended up doing that in year 12. Still did well in it. And then another thing, in my opinion, my greatest sack that I did was the first one I failed in year 12. I reckon when you start off low in something, that like your failures is what allows you to grow and like kind of identify your weaknesses and stuff. When I failed that sack, I was like, all right, like I need to change, you know. When you kind of get high in year 11, when year 12 hits you, it's like, damn, that's like a big jump, you know.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
But when you already have that mindset that you need to improve, like, and you want to go all out heading into year 12, having that mindset is just like so much more helpful. So I say that if you did bad in year 11 or year 10, think of that as an opportunity to grow and think of that as an opportunity to like I want to prove people wrong because that's how I saw it.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
to sum it up, basically, so you guys are basically saying there still is a chance. It's not like you're
Yeah.
done for.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
you have a chance to get
100%.
a high ATAR. And so, we see this term thrown around like academic comeback, and all this stuff. This is one of the questions one of the people had. So another question I have for you guys is, let's get to the main point, basically. So run me through, go back 1 year. So you graduated just last year.
Just now, yeah.
What about you?
2022.
Okay.
2022 as well.
So you guys just go back to year 12. Just imagine you're back in year 12, right? What does your daily life routine look like on an every single day basis, all right? So like, let's say it's a Monday. You go to school. What does it look like, basically? Just run us through that.
I feel like in year 12, I got really close to my dean and stuff, yeah. So I found that gives you like a kind of safe space to create yourself in. Because with year 12, you have a lot of sacks going on. You've got stress at school and all that. Don't get to meet your mates as well. Met them maybe like 5 times all of last year combined.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So obviously it differs for like everyone, but I was trying to take it seriously, get the 99, you know what I mean? So it was wake up for Fajr and then went gym for a bit until like term 3 when it started getting like more serious. But went gym for a bit, went school, school. And I think one thing really important was like the recess and lunch times you get. Because like you remember those when you graduate, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then just go home, study a couple of hours. And it changes throughout the year. Like you will know how much to study and when to study, you know what I mean?
Just one thing before we move. Just talk. I like that safe space you talked about with it, when you turned back to your dean. Just run me through that. What do you mean by safe space?
Alright, so I'd say in year 11, I wasn't on the dean as well, you know what I mean? Like just going out, doing this, doing that, meeting these people. But in year 12, I was just like, I have my goals, but there's only one person that can get me to it, and that's Allah, you know what I mean?
100%.
So it's like, you got to put your trust in him, you got to worship him, then you got to expect your results back. Because when you meet a person, yeah, you want something from them, you're going to have to like give something to them first. Yeah, and we don't know how Allah works, but that's like the fundamental behind it.
100%.
Yeah.
I really like that. We'll talk about Dean and how we're related to you again. So now.
I kind of had like a similar thing going on. In year 10, I had maybe one of my worst years. Like dean-wise, mentally, obviously educationally, but as well. And like, I realized God is the only one that can do me right, Friends might fail you, sometimes family might fail you, but Allah is always there for you, right? So I started going back to Allah. Everything, my whole life was just for Allah. And I realized that you got to balance that out, because even like Islamically, they don't want you being a monk, right? You got to be a Muslim, and you got to be a man, and you got to be a student.
It's a balance.
Yeah, you got to balance that shit out. Sorry, astaghfirullah.
Oh, that's fine.
But, I went back to my dean, year 11, year 12, I was praying, during my snacks and lunches, I would go and pray. And like kind of my like schedule was I'd wake up, pray, brush my teeth, drink a Milo, go to school, right? School, focused. I would be so tired coming back from school. I stopped going gym. I would relax for like 2-3 hours before I even do anything. I'd get to Maghrib and I haven't even eaten, right? But that's just because I put so much focus in school. I pretty much didn't really study, to be honest with you. I studied when I needed to before SACs, and maybe like if I didn't understand a topic, I'll go home and research it. But in my honest opinion, studying or per hour's sake or that kind of stuff isn't really worth it, because it is the quality of your study.
Yeah.
I went to school, I heard the stuff, and I stayed in my head, right? I was focusing the whole time. I'd come home, I know all the stuff, I'll go through the questions, I'll do it for like an hour. I'm like, okay, cool, I get it. And I'll move on.
That's good. Allah Mubarak, these two guys really went hard in school, yeah? Again, follow these two guys as an example, because my routine was basically obviously wake up, pray and stuff, and then go to school. But my school was, I enjoyed being with friends a lot. I enjoyed making memories, didn't really listen to the teacher a lot. Again, it wasn't that strict, so we used to just talk around and stuff. But then also with the routine, or with, like you mentioned, what was the main thing in year 12 that you wanted to do? It was having, like, I wouldn't say competition, but when you want to work, you want to outwork the rest of the people. So whether that be your close friends, etc. So I really, like when I would get home, first thing I would do is I would get to studying. So I was the opposite of Ali. Ali used to work hard in school. When he'd get off, he'd have that 3-hour nap. I was the opposite. My school was my break. My school was, I'm with friends, so I'm going to have fun. When I get home, I'm by myself. That's the time I can study. That's the time. And I'm sure these two can talk about this as well. Having a routine. As Muslims, we have our certain prayers. And for us, we're able to build routines around our life based on that. And for example, like our lunchtimes, like these two mentioned, would go on prayers. Zayan would join us as well in those.
I remember that,
Yeah, on those lunchtime prayers. And we'd just be the Muslims, we just talk. That's how it is. But again, having that routine where every single time, for example, on lunch, it would be prayers for dhuhr. And then for me, every time I'd get home, shower. If it was summer, catch up on your asr prayers. And then after that, it's like as soon as you hit your prayers, there's a desk right there. You stay in your desk for 3 hours, no matter what.
Okay, so that's a bit of conflicting answer. So you said that you used to focus at a school like full on, and then you said you used to focus at home. So for all those people out there who are trying to achieve that 90 plus ATAR, which one do you recommend more?
I would. It's really depending on how you learn. Me personally, I think people learn. They don't learn in like 4 hours, right? You're not going to be doing the thing over and over and over again. Now you learnt it. The whole point of ATAR to begin with isn't about memorization. It's about application. You already know the content. You're not dumb. You know the stuff.
Yeah.
You read it again at home. You already know. You're not dumb. It's about application. So that's why I didn't focus at all about the content, because I know the content. You need to learn how to write it down, how to answer it, what they want from you. Now, each school is different. Some schools give practice sacks, some schools don't. My school did. When they gave me a practice sack, like a couple of days, 3 or 4 days before the actual sack, I would practice that over and over and over again. I'd reread the answers, I'd write my answers, I'd do the same over and over and over again. And I found that really beneficiary, because when I go into the sack, I'm prepared to answer. I'm not prepared to regurgitate.
Yeah, 100%. So since you brought up the ATAR thing, if you guys had to define ATAR, how would you define it?
Just quickly, just to get back on that question, I wanted to add something onto what Ali mentioned. I think it really depends on the type of person you are. Me, I can only focus when it's literally me and the wall. If I tried Ali's, for example, like way of doing it, I would try to study, but then I'd see a friend right next to me, talk to me, and then if I spend all that energy trying to study and get them to stop talking to me, I'd get home, I'd be tired. So in my opinion, it really depends. I'm a big advocate for like deep work and spending 3 hours on deep work, and the only time I could do that was, for example, before like dinner or like maghrib for me, and then at that certain time I have energy, smash some study out, and that's it. But then again, your teachers are your resources, whether they're good teachers, whether they're bad teachers, you want to make the most out of them. So if you have good teachers, again, go for Ali's thing. But again, it really depends on the person you are. And that's how ATAR is mostly. Again, you want to like you want to make ATAR like, I don't want to swear. You want to be like the own facilitator of ATAR. You don't want to let the classroom or someone else dictate how you want to do it. If you have a plan, get to that. And then I'll talk about it later on, but like how to get to your plan. But again, it's important to have a plan and just stick to it, basically.
I just want to preface this. I did have really good teachers. I mean, they weren't amazing. We're still public school. Wyndham Central College, I'll tell you about that later. But my teachers were like pretty good. My bio teacher was amazing. My methods teacher was amazing. My English teacher, she didn't even like show up most of the time. Okay. My psychology teacher was new, and my further math teacher was horrific as well. But teachers do add to it. But at the end of the day, it's up to you. You know, they'll give you the paperwork. You gotta do it, right? You'll sit in the class. You gotta listen. It's not their job.
Yep.
I feel like for me it was more of like a balance between you two, because obviously I'd be like paying like attention in class, but then at the same time you've got to have that balance between like when you're like fully focusing and stuff, and like also like having your mates with you in class and all that. Obviously, you need to have a social life to like some extent, because in year 12, if you're not going out much, you're basically like, you're a loner, you know what I mean? And I feel like in class, it's just like, focus on your work, you finish your work, you bang it out, you have your mates next to you, chat to them, you know what I mean? But then you get home, okay, some days you focus too much at school, you're tired, that's all right, take a nap. All right, get to work, go gym or something if you need to get your mind off it. Or other days when it wasn't too good at school, you know like what you need to do for those sacks and stuff. Right? You know what like is needed to get the result that you want. So automatically, like let's say I had a sack like this week, all right, I'd come home from school and I'd put in more hours than I would in like any other week. But then if it's like an off week, I don't have like sacks for like 2-3 weeks or something, I come home, you know, I take my time, I take a shower. 2-3 hours later, maybe I'd sit down and study for a couple hours, but then that's it. You know what I mean? And so just like, it's all about adapting to the current situation you're in.
Sorry, I just want to add this as well. I did go out and I did have friends at school, and I would talk to them, but only after I'd done everything in the work, right? I'd do my work, then I'd talk to them. Snack and lunch, I would have friends I would like sit and talk to, but that was after I pray. Got to get your stuff done before you go and relax and go do other stuff.
So I relate with you more, because me personally, I just can't work with people around me.
Yep.
So I just when I'm alone, I'm just like full on focused. So back to the same question: if you guys had to define ATAR, what would you define it as?
Social status?
I mean, it's kind of like, it's just a number at the end of the day, bro. Because like, I'd say 2 weeks after I got my ATAR, it was just like, oh my God, I got 97, you know what I mean? Telling everyone about it, everyone meets you, they're like, oh, congratulations, all that. 2 weeks later, no one cares, bro. You're still the same person you were before you got it. You still have the same goals, same expectations. Like, at the end of the day, if you get into the course you want, that's all that matters. You know what I mean? Because for me, I haven't gone to the course I wanted. So, like, the fact I got the 97 is, like, overlooked by myself, you know what I mean? So unless someone, like, brings it up, I don't even realize that, okay, I did well. Because before going into the year, I was not even trying to get anywhere close to it. But then, like, midway, when I got, like, my first English sack back, I was like, okay, trying to get that 99, trying to get into medicine, all that. And it's like, you get these expectations built up in you, and that's just within yourself, and that's also around other people. And I think that's what the ATAR is. It's just like a social standard that's being forced upon you, right? And it kind of deviates you from the fact that you've done well, right? Because you get a number, someone else got a higher number, right? You're happy for them, but then you've got a bit of jealousy inside you, right? It's just a number. End of the day, that's all it is.
I would call it more of a tool, but you can't deny that it has a social, has a social stand into it, right? You can use your ATAR as a number to, like, oh, I'm smart. Here's my ATAR. Hire me, right? I use that all the time. I get a lot of job offers, like, my other friends should, like, get themselves.
Yeah.
But, like, I have a high ATAR, so they'll give it to me, right? It's a tool that you can use. It doesn't define intelligence at all. Not at all. But, it's more of a tool, and other people will.
So you think ATAR doesn't have anything to do with IQ?
Nothing at all, man. Nothing at all.
You too?
Yep. And to add on to that, I reckon there's 2 ways you can define ATAR. You can define it from for example, a year 12 perspective. From, for example, Zayan's perspective, it's a rank. You're seeing what you're ranked against other year 12 students. But again, that's ranking based off of how well you perform in subjects. So that's why it's not an IQ test. You don't need to say whether you're smart or whether you're dumb. Most of the time is either correlating to how much effort you put in or how well you use that effort you put in. Those 2.
Or your luck. Also include that luck and where you're at.
Situation
School,
as well.
A lot of it goes to that.
Yeah, but again, like I said, that's from the year 12 perspective. Post year 12 perspective, there's always going to be those people where you go to uni, they ask you, for example, I go to Melbourne Uni, I'm sure he can attest to this as well. First question they ask you, like their whole like personality is based off of it. What ATAR did you get? Oh, I got 99.85. But like at the end of the day,
they'll say that and they'll be dumber than you.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we're still doing the same course. Like regardless or not, whether you got 98 or whether you got that, same thing. But again, I don't want to say that it's completely useless. I wouldn't say it's a most effective tool, but again, I used it as an opportunity for tutoring. So it can be used for a tool to, for example, progress your career. For example, like he mentioned, if you put it into your resume, whether that's fair or not, at the end of the day, it can be used.
Reality.
It's just how it is. It is. It has its benefits. Its benefits aren't the greatest, again, if you don't want to use them.
Yep.
If you get a high ATAR, and like I said, I know people that got 98 ATAR, but they don't tutor, they don't do anything. So then it's like,
What's the point?
yeah, exactly. You have a tool. If you want to use it, you can. If you don't want to use the tool, then it's not really that beneficial if you get into your course post year 12.
100%. Okay, so considering our audience, which is basically people who are under year 12, they're going to go do the ATAR in a couple of years, 2 years, or maybe even this year, including me. What would sort of be your main sort of advice, and like not just the one word advice?
I got to the counselor, the careers counselor. She was like, this is an amazing ATAR, blah, blah, blah. You can get into any course you want. And I'm hearing that, my whole like reality, I can finally breathe, yeah. So she's like, you can get in any course you want, you've done amazing, you've done a great job, blah, blah, blah. After she said, you've done amazing, I just, took a step back. I stopped hearing what she was saying, right? I was just happy. So I went home, right? I went to the C's calculator, put my thing in, got 93.15. 93.15, I'm happy with that, bro. That's levels above what anyone should have gone in my situation. And with C's too, especially, uni saw that, and I got offers from everywhere, bro. I got Melbourne, Monash. Those are the only ones that gave me it, because the other, the list, yeah? When you apply for courses, you have to give it a list in Victoria. I don't know about other states. But the higher the list, let's say your dream is biomedicine. I think it's biomedicine? Biomedicine at Melbourne, right? And then your second course is biomedicine at Monash. If you get your offer from the rank 1, the rank 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, they're not going to send you anything, because they know you just got an offer that you prioritize more.
Okay.
So I only got Melbourne and Monash, and they both gave me scholarships. They both gave me offers for scholarships. And this was near the end of 2022. And like during this period, I was ecstatic. Every day I'm waking up, I'm like, damn, I did it. That feeling is really, really otherworldly, especially when you look at you self-reflect, you see, damn, I could have gone and done drugs. I could have gone pushed drugs. I could have stolen, I could have lied, I could have cheated, I could have done all this stuff. But here I am at the end of the road where other people could even dream about it, let alone them being in the same situation as you. I still did it.
This question is just specifically for you, because you told me you come from like unmatched circumstances, which would cause you not to, like, people would expect not for you to get that, right? Like, not privilege, right? What was that thing that literally told you not to go into drugs? Because that stuff was easy, right?
Yeah, my mom.
Your mom, all right.
I'll preface this. Mom and Allah, God bless them. If it wasn't for my mom and Islam, I genuinely believe I would be a horrible human being. Genuinely believe it. If it wasn't for my mom telling me, Ali, you're the only man in my like that. You're the only man in our household right now.
So it was just you and your mom in the house? No siblings?
My older sister. I don't want to get into it, but she couldn't do what I did. Me, my older sister, my little brother, my little sister, right?
And you were the oldest male?
I was the oldest male.
Okay.
And circumstances in my house were really tough, so my sister couldn't do it. I knew it was up to me. I knew if I don't do this, that's it. My family is done. Maybe until the next generation, maybe, someone out of them will be able to do it. But if I don't do it now, that's it.
It's you, yeah.
So thank God for that, right? Thank God I have my mom. But of course, I prayed to Allah and everything, always be on your deen, because at the end of the day, even if you put all that effort in, it is up to God.
100%.
Even if every day you wake up, you study, you're doing all this, blah, 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 it is up to God, man. You got to ask for that, nothing. And even if he doesn't give it to you, you're going to get something else anyway. Allah is just, he's fair. Even if he doesn't give you that ATAR that you deserve or that you need, doesn't mean that your life is going to come around, right? I applied for biomedicine at Melbourne, and I didn't get it. And I was pretty sad about it. I'm like, damn, I really wanted it. But I got into science and I realized that science and biomed at Melbourne lead to the same thing. I can still become a doctor. I can do what I believe is destined for me. Inshallah.
Yeah. And like these two mentioned about how it was opening their ATAR.
Been a bit of a tangent.
Yeah. Mine was pretty funny. Me and my friends planned the whole year to like go to someone's house, all like react to it, because we used to always watch those like ATAR reaction YouTube videos. I'm sure most of you guys have as well.
Yeah.
The funniest thing ever. I was in Morocco though, so then we all decided to do it on Discord. So we were like streaming it, everyone was doing, we were hyping. And what we did is we did like our predictions earlier. And then obviously I was the last, so we spinned the wheel. I was the last person.
So what did people predict for you? Like, what did they predict?
They actually, towards the end, they picked 90. So I think there's an important point to mention. I'm sure these guys, like Ali and other people noticed, when you're trying to go against that challenge, like no one expects you, for example, coming from year 11 or anything, no one expects you to do high. Like you want to like go against it, yeah? Like you're trying to like go against the competition.
Be that rebel, bro.
Yeah, you have to be that rebel. But there's also a point where that just becomes expectations. So instead of, oh, you're not going to get 80, you're not going to get 90 ATAR, to you only got 90 ATAR, like there's a easy shift, and that happened mid-year when like obviously I started averaging high in my sacks. But then that's when that shifts, like, oh my God, like, so everyone started just expecting 90 ATAR, and it's a pretty nice feeling, but you can get comfortable with that. So again, you always got to remember your reason. But yeah, everyone was predicting like 90s for me. But then what happened was my friends, they also had high predictions as well for their ATAR. When they started streaming it, it was funny, bro. It was like very low, like expectations. Every single person that would open their ATAR, low. I was like,
Were
damn.
you scared, bro?
I was scared, bro, because I was like, you know what it is? I was confident because I felt like I smashed out my exams. But then I was like, wait, maybe, because again, we were the first year 12s of our school, so our situation's a bit different. Yeah. But then when I saw those like low ATARs, I was like, I mean, in comparison to their goal, I was like, damn, school does play a fact in it. And then I streamed, and then I went, opened my thing up, yeah. I had my sister on the side, obviously she wasn't in the camera, and then I had people that, no idea, just my uncles and aunties, just like in another room, yeah. I open it, and then obviously before you see your ATAR, you see your study scores, and then I see one of my like study scores really high. I'm like, I got this. So then I shared my ATAR. It was like, I was screaming for a second, but that's because like all my friends were like screaming as well. But yeah, it's a good feeling. I can't lie, it's a good feeling. But yeah.
Yeah, for me, bro, like I opened up my study scores, and like I mentioned, yeah, the ATAR stuff didn't come for like 15 minutes. So I was just sat there with my study scores like just in front of me the whole time, and I'm just like, shit, this is below what I wanted, this is below what I wanted, this is below what I wanted. Okay, that's good, but that's also below what I wanted. And it's just like, when you actually open up the ATAR, it's just like, okay, I did really good from like, but then at the same time, I put in effort for the 99, yeah? And when I opened it, I will say it was kind of bittersweet, because obviously it is a good ATAR, but then it's below what I expected, it's below what I wanted. It's not until like a day later, I think, when I met all my friends from school, because like we all like met up and stuff.
That's when it hits, bro.
Yeah, that's when it hit, because then they would start talking about how that's so good and that I did better than like any of them would like ever thought I would. And then I was like, okay, hold on, I actually cooked, you know what I mean? Like, I did well.
Don't you think that's just because you were so ingrained into it that you were like, no matter what number you got, it wouldn't be good enough? You could have gone 99.5, it wouldn't have been good enough for you, bro.
Yeah.
You're so into it. Yeah. That was with me, you know, you need to take a step back, other people comment on it, and then you'll realize.
Yeah. And I reckon with that, even that, I had obviously high 8, because we all wanted to do medicine, but we'll get onto that later. But what we basically did is we shot for the moon, but we missed it. But then when you shoot for the moon and you miss it, you're going to reach the stars.
Among the stars, man.
We're among the stars, you know? So that's the thing. At the start, we're like, damn, didn't get into medicine, didn't get that 99, or that like, there's always a sweet number. And that's with a lot of your goals. Like there's always like a perfect situation that you want, and you're never going to get to it because life happens. But again, when you take a step back and you're like, wait, like in the grand scheme of things, this is what I really wanted. This is like still gonna get me the exact thing I wanted.
Because when you get that number, yeah, you think like 4 or 5 years back, okay, like I did not expect I'd be getting, like if you told me in year 8, like just landed in this country, I'm a fob, you know what I mean, no friends and all that, you told me, oh, you're gonna get a 97, I would not believe you, bro, not for a second, because obviously new curriculum, all that, don't know anyone, don't have any friends, 97 ATAR, all right, everyone around you loves you because of that, and it's just like, it's a beautiful feeling, bro.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely, like, whatever, like obviously you haven't started year 12, yeah, but I promise you, inshallah, whatever you get at the end of the year, yeah, it'll take you a bit maybe, but you're going to be happy with it because you're going to look back at year 12. Year 12 brings you so many experiences that really like shape who you are, you know what I mean? Because you'd have that one bad sack or you'd have that one really good sack and like all of it just kind of like shapes what you're becoming, you know what I mean? And when you see that number at the end of the day, obviously it doesn't represent all of the hard work you put in, but at the same time, it shows all of the effort and all of the
It's
time.
an acclamation.
That's what yeah, it's an acclamation.
And also, in short, it shows basically, like you said, you're always going to have that bad sack. You're always going to have that really high sack. But that kind of teaches you future in life how to respond to failures and how to respond to success. Sometimes when you have a lot of success, you can get comfortable, comes tumbling down. Or when you react to failure, you can get all down in the mood. But again, it's just depending on how it is. And again, like you said, it's a year of experiences and it teaches you more about life than what you think. And obviously there's going to be those teachers that got like a low ATAR or anything. Or even like people like us, they might be like, oh, ATAR, it's just a number. It's just a number.
Doesn't define you.
Doesn't define you.
Yeah.
It's not really like
bag.
that. Yeah, it's a mixed situation, you know, like it does define you.
It doesn't
No,
fully define you.
it doesn't define you. It doesn't define you, but like it's really like you can use that as a short kind of modem of like
It's a shortcut.
yeah, like a big goal, like in how you would react to
I
it.
feel like an ATA doesn't define you, it defines the experiences and the hard work you put in.
There you
know
go.
what I mean? And like that's because I've like just graduated, yeah, and like looking at the ATA I've gotten, I'm just like, this was worth it, you know what I mean? Like I've put the effort in.
You did amazing, bro.
Yeah,
You did
alhamdulillah,
amazing.
bro, alhamdulillah.
Yeah, this is sauce. Pick up on what he said, bro. That's sauce right
If
there.
you need tutoring, hit me up.
Hey, we're all tutors here, just so you know, sorry.
I'll link all of these guys if you want to do it, whatever you want.
Appreciate it.
Inshallah. You got to pay me though.
Cheeky fuck.
Yeah.
Hey, commission, yeah?
Yep. One more thing, bro. Come on. All right. So what was the biggest challenge for you guys on the way? Biggest challenge?
For me, being comfortable, I can't lie. When it got to that point where I started getting better than people who were supposed to be that like top percent, and then some random guy who I literally got voted the class clown of Homestead for that year because that was a bit bad. But I had stuff going on. I took the mick out of year 12 really, but when you start getting like everyone's like, bro, you're gonna get a 99 ATAR, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do this. The challenge was I started stooping down to the level of my peers. I limited myself to that because I was like, in my opinion, hearing that dopamine releases, I'm like, yeah, I made it. I haven't made it. There's people.
Job's not finished, bro.
Yeah, job's barely finished. Exams haven't even started. There's people from like other schools working hard. Don't compare yourself that you're number one rank in a public school. Life's chill, life's finished, or you got top 5 in this. So my challenge was I had a phase where I was comfortable and I started to slack off, and my goals of averaging high 90s, like when I got like in the mid 80s, I was like, you know what, it is what it is. I'm still number one ranked, but that started playing down on my like confidence. So I reckon a challenge is for people who have really high goals, never put yourself down to the level of your peers. Elevate yourself to the level that like you want to be, like to your goal. Compare yourself to the person that you want to be, basically.
Sorry, what was the question?
Question was,
What was the
Challenges.
biggest
Yeah.
challenge on the way?
I had people and social, right? So year 11, year 10, I was a bit slacking off, you know, but I still had friends, right? So I had to balance relaxing and chilling with friends with, resting. I didn't study that much because I'm under the, my philosophy is you don't need to study as much as you think you do because you know the content, you need to answer the questions, bro. You don't need to, as long as you know how to answer, you're cool, man. And of course that took me really far at Wyndham, but you got to balance it. You can't always just be relaxing, because at some point that's part of your nature now. You don't want to finish school and still be at home, right? So that, and alongside with when you're like climbing up the ladder, some people above you, whether they like it or not, or know it or not, they're gonna try to push you down. When I was doing methods and some other couple subjects, people wouldn't share questions. They wouldn't share exam papers, like practice exam papers. They wouldn't share nothing.
Wow.
And they would share it amongst themselves, but they refused to give it to other people. I remember one day, I asked someone, hey, do you have an exam paper? Like, no, but this person does. So I went up to them, right in front of the face of the other person that I asked, and they said, no, I don't have any exam papers, man. Sorry about that. And that kind of broke my heart because like I was like, oh, this is like a mate,
So everyone's basically selfish.
Everyone, maybe it's like a public school thing, but people can get selfish to the point where you don't even know if you know them.
I think that's a selective school thing as well. I'm sure you can
I
touch
heard
on your
some stuff about
thing.
that.
But at the end of the day, it comes from the fact that ATARs are ranked. People take it more seriously than they can, whether that's the thing they should do or the thing they shouldn't do. But
Just so you know, even though I got a really high ATAR, I helped out as many people as I could.
Yeah.
I would teach other students. I would, get on calls with them. You need to help the people around you. Just because it's a ranking system doesn't mean you can't help other people, because at the end of the day, your ATAR, I don't know if they tell you this, it's an acclamation of your effort and the people around you. You could get amazing. If the people around you are if the people around you are bad, you're going to get a bad ATAR too. That's just the reality of it, man. You can't really be pushing people down like that, because God will judge you. God will see you, you're doing all this, you're not helping the other guy next to you. It's barely any effort out of your hand. Why aren't you?
I mean, even like from a VC perspective, if your school and like your peers and stuff in your classes, your cohort does well, that's better for you, because like they said, coming from public schools and stuff, they were getting dragged down by the people that weren't as smart as them. But then coming from
Selective school.
from a selective school, alhamdulillah, I can say, the people around me, them being smart, that was one of the things I believe contributed to my ATAR the most, because I went to Atar like before that, and it's bummy ass school, you know what I mean? But astaghfirullah, my bad, bro. The environment you're in also like affects you a lot, and alhamdulillah, I didn't have much of pressure from the environment around me, because everyone wanted a high ATAR, you know what I mean? You're in a selective school for a reason. Everyone has high goals. So, but at the same time, there's people that make selective school, and that's the peak of their life. But alhamdulillah, I'm done. You know what I mean? I made it to selective school. I'm going to tell my kids about this one day. But they're going to try dragging you down. Like the metaphor he used about the ladder, there's people above you that are pushing you down, but there's also people below you trying to pull you down. And it's up to you to stay climbing the whole time.
I like that.
Yeah.
So I really like that analogy. It's like a ladder, and people up, pushing you down. Some people
We'll pull you up.
So
I mean, I tried pulling up as many people as I could.
That's good. So it's not like hell. It's not like It's not like
dog eats dog world out there, man.
Yeah. So there is some good people as well, and there's people down that are pulling you down. So it's all about would you say your peers around you affect you as well?
100%.
Heavily, bro. Heavily.
100%. I wanted to make a point that in year 12, me and my friends, because again, we all wanted to do good, and I thought that I could elevate them as well, because I want to see my friends succeed as well. Obviously, I told them this in person to kind of like motivate them, but I was like, I want you guys to succeed, but I'm not letting you guys succeed past me. That was more to like motivate them, take the piss out of them. But you should, obviously you don't want to have a solo thing. I had the thing with my friends where basically we had this like thing where you have to get a certain amount for a sack. So I set my goals up really high. I think the difference between me and my friends was the goals that I set. For example, there was a biology sack. I said
Love bio, man.
Yeah.
Love bio.
If I don't get 100% of the sack, we have to do a consequence. So there's this consequence system where One of them was Carolina Reaper pepper. One of them you get a bottle of Sprite like thing. Like there was this one time where we made a shake of like 100-year-old goose eggs with bananas and stuff. It was disgusting. And we made them drink it because obviously they didn't reach their goal. But that made it a competitive environment, which it is, but a healthy one. Like, I want to reach my goal because I don't want to do that thing. And everyone else is like, yeah. So you can help yourself. Me and a friend, best mate, shout out Zaya, we used to teach each other biology. We used to like make like really weird analogies. Obviously, I'm not going to say some of them because a bit inappropriate, but like...
Share one at least.
Okay, I'll share one. So basically, there's this thing in chemistry where there's two tubes. They're called galvanic cells, and then there's a salt bridge, yeah? I like to think of it as, okay, this sounds weird, but I like to think of the salt bridge as the gooch. And then the galvanic cells, one of them being like your, if you're a girl, like your vagina, and then if you're a boy, like your balls and stuff. Zubin's walking away, my bad. And then another one, like your ass, and the gooch kind of connects it. And because the gooch, you know, is like really salty and stuff, has all these minerals.
How would you know that, bro?
I smelled it. But like stuff like that, as stupid as it sounds, bro, my teacher was talking to me. My teachers were really chill with me. They knew all my like inappropriate stuff. But then all my friends went into the exam knowing that analogy, and it was helpful. But yeah, stuff like that.
Also, they wrote down gooch and shit on there.
Nah, obviously not. But like I pictured like the okay.
So you opened the exam, you read the first question, like, oh, that's the gooch one.
That's the gooch right there. There was another ones, bro. It was a mad amount. I know Zion's gonna like my example soon, but
Now, did you like chemistry though?
I hated chemistry.
Oh,
man.
it was a half and half.
Did you?
Yeah, I hated chemistry, bro.
I hate chemistry, bro.
Yeah, I hated 1, 2, but 3, 4 was kind of fun. But that's also
I
because
still did really good in it.
yeah.
But I only in uni did I start loving chemistry.
I use this as a motivation. Yeah, my average in chemistry in year 11 was 46%. All right, and then my average in year 12 was like high 80s somewhere.
Yeah. Same here. I can say, bro, I was failing. I wanted to drop chemistry, but I needed it as a prerequisite.
Yeah.
I was averaging in the 40s as well, and then I was like, time to switch on. And I switched on. Then yeah.
Go on.
And I was gonna meet the teacher. The teacher kept telling me, "Oh my God, sorry, I'm going a bit off track." But there was 2 classes in chemistry. There was one really smart class and one really dumb class. I was in that dumb class. Everyone thought, "Oh, these guys aren't gonna touch us in rankings." Yeah, had all the nerds in one class, and it was me, you know, Marcus, some buff Macedonian guy, some other Albanian guy, and then like 2 girls that like don't really talk, and even then they weren't really into it. And our teacher, the first lesson told us, yeah, you guys aren't matching up to the other class. I was like, what? What? But that's when, that like we used that as motivation. But yeah, you were going to mention something, Zayan?
So I was gonna. Did you guys enjoy methods as well or no?
Yeah, I did methods. I loved methods.
I actually love methods.
I love methods, man.
Methods?
Like 1 and 2, I hated it. But you need to see the joy in the numbers. You got to see the joy in the process.
The thing about like methods and further and stuff, yeah, it's so good to learn. You know what I mean? Like with chemistry and stuff, there's too much memorization going on. All right?
Jacob.
No, but with like methods, yeah, because you need to learn a concept, and then that concept's in every single question. You know what I mean? Like with Sachs and all that, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
I remember my methods class was like the one with all the sweats, yeah, like rank 1, rank 2, rank 3 was all in our class, yeah. I didn't know, but I had a high rank, yeah, because me, my mate, and my other mate, it was just us 3 in this corner, goofing around the whole time, bro. We had this thing called the jig, alright? So we used to like play this game, like it's like a computer game, yeah. Whoever comes last, they get jigged, which is just like you have 12 seconds where the other 2 guys just have to do whatever they want to you.
Yeah.
You're tied back in a chair, whatever you want. And then, brother, we went from that to like. I ended up being ranked 2 in that class. I didn't expect that at all. But then obviously I was silently cooking, but like no one else needed to know that.
Yeah.
So it's just like, so it's just like have fun in your classes, you know what I mean?
Wallah, that situation you mentioned was the exact same in my methods. Rank 1, rank 2, rank 3 for most of the year. They were all there. It was me in a corner. We're playing. Do you guys remember that game where it's like a green ball and you have to like get it like through like the tunnels and stuff, like, and it gets like faster and faster? Bro, we used to just play that all the time. But at the end of the day, we silently cooked. We got high and stuff. But yeah, it's a fun experience, like you mentioned. But yeah, I didn't really like methods until it came to like the sacks. Sacks, like it would be like one sack the weekend. I'd lock in for a whole week straight for methods.
Same, bro.
Yeah,
Same.
but when it came to homework and stuff, I was not a fan of the homework. I can't lie, but
Yeah.
I'm sure these guys can attest to loving methods.
I still love methods, bro. Methods was because me and my table, yeah, I sucked at methods. I'll be real, I sucked at it at the start, but I had my friend who was smarter than me and another friend. They were ranked 1 and 2. I was ranked 3 by the end of the year, but they built this like, how do I say it? The teacher would write something on the board or talk about a subject. I'm like, what does that mean? I talk to my friend. He'd be like, oh, it means this, that. He would teach me the concept in the middle of the class, and I was able to understand it. Thank God for him. You know, if it wasn't for him, I definitely wouldn't, you know, have had the 8 I got now. But friends will help you. You need to, like, it's not just like, oh, it's me against the world. No, bro. It's you and your friends. And even the people that you don't know, bro. Like, you should help as many as you could.
So there's no lone wolf thing, this kind of motivational thing that's real, like lone wolf, I'll do it all alone.
No, you're not bro, you're not a lone wolf, right?
You're a pack of wolves. Think of it as that, you know, like my main technique of studying was going to the library and thinking up of a random ass story to explain the concept to my friend. I would, for example, in accounting, I would use wallets. In biology, like I would probably be like a dog or something. Like, don't be as excessive as I was. Alright, chill out. Don't be as excessive.
You're doing some mad stuff for biology, bro.
Brother.
What study score did you get for
I
biology?
got 40, alhamdulillah. So I'll take that.
Bro,
But
whatever you did for biology is like crazy.
yeah, in accounting as well. I taught the whole class. The teacher basically assigned me as the tutor. Basically, instead of, because she knew I did no work, no homework, no nothing. Don't do what I did. It just how it worked for me. But instead, she would get me to just go around and help everyone and basically like, explain stuff to me. I had a wallet always ready, or I always had I was on the board. I would make like these big ass mind maps and stuff, just explain stuff, and then there's stuff like that. Like I had fun learning. And I made it more into like a game instead of thinking of it as a hassle. That's why I didn't really like methods, because methods, I didn't have as much leeway to do that.
That's why I liked methods, bro. I made it again, me and my friends.
There you go. But me and like 2 others, like for example, me and for 2 other subjects, I used to just love explaining, go to the library. People like would have this one room. It would always be closed, and I'd always be like teaching them stuff like that. And they did good, but I did better. So never take your help as you're wasting your own time. Even though my mum thought that, my mum would always be calling me, and that's why you're at the library. Come back home. But I would be like, Mom, chill out. Like I'm doing what I'm trying to do, you know. But then pack of wolves.
What was the question?
No, it wasn't a question. I was just like, come on, host.
So you said, my bad, bro. So you said you made methods into a game. How did you make that?
We would just study together, right? Like he would. I wouldn't understand the topic. I would ask my friend. He would answer it to me. He'd call me stupid. Like, yeah, you're right. And then I would go do the questions, and then afterwards we would, just go and have fun. It was just a game. We didn't take it seriously, right? Methods isn't as scary as you think it is, because the content's there, man. It's just numbers. End of the day, they have it. They give you the question. There's an answer at the end of it. It's not like English, right? With English, you have to just write a bunch of, nothing. In methods and maths-related subjects, there's an answer at the end, and you can get to it. How you get to it's up to you, but it's always there. You don't have to stress about it. So I didn't stress too much about methods. I had that support group and stuff. Yeah.
My methods class, you see how I said there was a trio of us playing like the jig and shit? It's like 2 of us are like pretty smart and stuff. The other one's a full drop kick. I hope he's not watching this, but like he's a full drop kick, yeah? But we like found ways in which we found out by the end of the year, yeah, that when I'm learning, all right, and my mate next to me is also learning, like doing catching up on homework, whatever, the other one also gets inclined to do that. You know what I mean? So it's like, bring your friends up with you, bro, because end of the day, okay, you finish year 12, all that's done, dusted. Let's say you didn't help out your friends. You finish year 12, you don't have your studies with you, you don't have any excuses. you're still gonna have those same. Okay, maybe if you don't have them, but if you still have those same friends, they're gonna remember those times that you like ghosted them or something in class when they asked you for help and you're just like, nah, like leave me alone type shit. You know what I mean? But it's like help other people, and that kind of helps yourself as well.
Yep.
So
Teaching other people has its benefits too. Just so you know.
Yep. So 2 main pieces of advice. I'll just summarize it up. There's no such thing as a lone wolf. You know, you got to work with your friends, and even Islamically, if you don't help your friends out, like, bro, you know it's wrong.
How are you gonna face God like that?
Yeah, your friends are your brothers. You're not helping them out. You want to see them fail instead of seeing them succeed. What kind of friend are you then?
Of course, if you don't have any friends, you can do that lone wolf, outlook. It'll
Sigma.
be you know, you could be that Sigma, but you can do it. It's difficult, but of course, if you put the effort in, God's gonna reward you, man. Simple. It's much easier being with your friends and helping them. But if you don't have that outlook, that doesn't mean that you can't do it either. Yeah. You don't have to have friends. It definitely helps, but if you don't have friends and you don't want to be friends with them, then don't stress.
100%. Now I wanna get to selective and non-selective school. Okay, so it's fine if you guys argue, all right? Throw hands, whatever you want, all right? It's recording, it's good. Everyone's watching, it's fine. So I'll start with you. Do you think selective entry school is sort of like a cheat code, and I want to ask you, can public school students still achieve that which selective entry students have? Just run us through that.
Yeah. Do you want to start?
Yeah, I'll start. But basically, obviously you two both didn't go to selective school, so I need to be careful with my words here. But
Nah, go hard, bro. Go hard.
Say whatever the hell you want.
Because I don't want to limit myself as well. So
no, but you need to consider that I came from Otakwa as well. And I was bumming out like, the whole of year 10. It's all just Allah's raham, bro. Now I'm here still. But I remember I did the test. I was on call with my mate. And I hope my parents aren't watching this later on. But like, I was on call with my mate, yeah? My dad walks in, put the phone down. Dad walks out, pull the phone back up. He's giving me all the answers and all that. So I got in by being a neek, basically, yeah? But then, obviously, as I like said before, the environment and stuff I got from going to the selective school, I find that really benefiting because like as you guys like obviously mentioned before, being in schools that aren't as academically out there, like with the drugs and stuff going on, you have a lot of distractions. You know what I mean? And I really respect that. Well, I really respect that because if I was in that situation, I don't believe I would have done anywhere near as good as you guys did. And like that's something you guys should be proud of, bro.
yeah.
Appreciate it, man.
Obviously, I wanted to introduce myself trying to roast selective schools, but honestly, selective schools is good, not for the reasons like the teachers are OP or like thing. I'm sure you can attest to that. Half of them don't care. We had a teacher come from Melbourne High and he was the worst teacher like we got. So it's overrated for that. But the environment is
and
like...
the resources.
Environment and resources.
But that's for like the ultra selective, the ones who have to pay a lot of money to get in. But
yeah, but again, the environment is what matters the most. If you can try emulate that environment in a public school, we can. But again, it's hard. It's hard for that because not in a selective school, everyone was selected there because they had a goal to do high. It's not the case with everyone in a public school. But again, public school, your peers can drag you down, but at the same time, there's also a situation where if you're number one rank, the peers aren't going to affect you as much. One of my subjects, I got higher than most selective school students because I was number one rank and I just went hard in the exam. So it's literally like public school. Obviously, there has to be a situation perfectly matched for you to be able to get high. But at the same time, it's still doable. So I wouldn't go into the mindset thinking, I'm in a situation where I can't do that. So I'm going to set my expectations at 93 or 92 or 91 or even below that.
Same thing to what Ali said, like, you just got to deal with the situation.
That's it. If
God put you in some certain position, you just got to work with it instead of just like scaling down and stuff.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And then even in that, I used to always hear people in my ear, even Ali, as I told him, I didn't do a subject in year 11 because my teacher said, oh, no, you can't do it. And all I had people in my ear were like, bro, imagine the ATAR you could get if you did that subject. And it got to my head for a bit, but then at the same time, I was like, that's the situation I was put in. And in year 11, I was able to use that to actually build a study system that helped me do better in year 12 than maybe if I was occupied with that year 12 subject in year 11 instead.
Just want to say that Wyndham is a great school for, it's a great school as in like the people are great, right? Yet the teachers are also great, but it's more of a situation. There's a lot of students that don't do their work. I remember in English, the English exam, some people were sleeping. They were just sleeping on their test, and I was like, damn, bro, I'm here cooking. I'm here writing, bro. They got me extra pages because I ran out. And I'm looking behind as they're handing it to me. I'm like, I see like a couple guys like sleeping. Like, damn, these are the people that are pulling me down. I believe that ATAR is a scam, and selective schools, pay into that because it is about your environment. And disadvantaged schools are always going to perform worse than selective schools, purely on the basis on the people around you, right? You go to a selective school, all the people there, no matter what, they've proven themselves to be capable. Public school, they have to, like, it's a public school. You don't have to prove anything. You could be there just to, talk to your girlfriend, right? ATAR's a scam because you could go to, a school. I go to Melbourne Uni, right? And I know this one guy, really, really rich guy, right? And he wasn't really the smartest, but he had a really, really good ATAR. I remember it was like around the 95, 98 region. And he told me, I went to a private school in Bendigo. I'm like, oh, really? How much was the tuition? He said, 30,000 a year. My dad's a salesman. I heard that, I'm like, damn. So this number that I've been working my ass off, working really hard for, it really means nothing because this guy right here, didn't work nearly as hard as me. He had all the resources handed to him. He must have had like great teachers, and he goes to a school where only rich kids go. And I'm like, damn, all that just for this one guy to come in, not even try as hard as me and still get it. That's why I think ATAR isn't as important as people make it out to be. It definitely adds to your social stuff, but don't let it define you because at the end of the day, it's a rigged game. And if you go to a public school and it's a bad school, you can perform well like me and get a great ATAR, but don't bag yourself if you get a low ATAR because at the end of the day, it's out of your hand.
And also for like anyone in a public school watching this right now, haven't studied year 12, like look at these guys as like examples for you because they didn't go to public schools and they did so well, mashallah,
So
but they
didn't
did
go to
so
selective.
well. Huh?
You said they don't go to public.
Oh, they didn't go to like my bad. But they went to public schools and they did so well. Like they did beyond their expectations. And just see like how happy they are talking about that. Just like makes me feel warm inside. You know what I mean? But like if you're in a public school, obviously if you don't get your result, then maybe you should look back and be like, okay, if I was in a selective school, maybe it would have been better or whatever. But then at the same time, you haven't started year 12 yet. You have that whole year ahead of you. When you're starting year 12, that's like one of the most important chapters in your life up until that point. And I'm sure these guys can attest to that. It changes like who you are completely. But put in your effort, put in the work, put in the hard work, all that, yeah? And don't think too much about, this guy's smarter than me, that guy's smarter than me. He goes to that school, he's going to do better than me. Put in your work. You're writing your own story. Put in your work. You're gonna write those chapters. You know what I mean? And you're the one that's going to get there at the end of the day.
Subhanallah, bro.
Subhanallah. Keep going, bro.
I think
There you go.
Cooking, bro. Thank you, man.
But you guys have cooked a lot and like fired the fuel inside of me, and of course people watching are probably like, oh yeah, you know what? Now, no excuse for me. Whether my parents are divorced, or whether I'm an orphan, whether I came from war-torn country, whatever it is, whether I'm in public, Susan Corey, whatever, I can get the 98er. So you basically fired up everyone, all right? So yeah, you really have, but all of you, I appreciate that. But now, what are the steps, actionable steps that we need to take to really achieve that? You fired us up, you got the motivation, got the fuel. What are the steps to achieve that? Tuition, like what should we do? Just let's say there's a person watching. He says, "Tell me the steps to do to achieve that ATAR." Run us through that one by one.
I like the leeway you did into that. That was kind of clean.
Yeah,
but all right, I'll give you what my advice is. Learn how to learn. That is a skill that's going to carry you into university, everywhere. Don't just spend your time just learn how to learn. Find your technique, find your system, find like for example, basketball players, they have a spot in the court that when they shoot, they don't miss it. Find that for you. Find that spot or find that technique that every single time you do it, you know you're gonna get like at least like a minimum of something. What I did a bit of research into this. There's something called SIR, which is called spacing, interleaving, retrieval. Spacing is just instead of just doing like learning stuff on the day of the sack, I would actually schedule my time out and say, I'm gonna learn the content this week. Tomorrow I'm gonna look at it again, and then next week I'm gonna again test myself, see am I gonna do it right. The next thing, the I, which is interleaving. Interleaving is my favorite thing to do. Interleaving is basically learning or revising content in different ways. Don't just write notes every single time you're gonna learn this content. You're not gonna get anywhere. You're gonna go up 5% or 10%. It's barely gonna be different. What I would do is, for example, maybe I'll do notes, or I like doing mind maps, but again, that's your personal thing. One day I'll do mind maps. The next day I would teach my friends. Another day I would do a practice sack. Another day I would make a giant mind map to connect all the other things. Like I would always do like different stuff. Another time I would create questions for myself to test myself, or like or brain dumps. There's so many different ways you can learn. You shouldn't limit yourself to just notes because that smart guy over there that's rank 1 does that. That's not your source, brother. That you have your own shot. The other person has their other shot. You need to find yours. That's what I mean by learn how to learn. Learn your technique. And then retrieval again is try to retrieve from your brain. Don't just look at the PowerPoint slides and copy it. Try to see what you actually know and then retrieve. For example, this can be in the form of a test, this can be in the form of a brain dump, but when you go home to revise, brain dump everything, maybe use the study design as a syllabus or anything as a syllabus, and then target your weaknesses. What you did retrieve or what you did know, what's the point of writing notes on it again? It's a waste of time. So target your weaknesses, look at those weaknesses and be like, okay, this is where I need to go from there. And then that again saves time. So again, that was my source. You don't have to use that as your source, but there's so many YouTubers out there that teach you how to learn. And even then, you don't need to use a specific YouTuber's technique. You can use anyone else's.
Just building up on what he said about targeting your weaknesses, I think there's no room for ego, especially in year 12. All right, everyone has their strengths and their weaknesses. Yeah, find your strengths and weaknesses. You've done 11 years of school already. You know yourself. You know how you study. You know what you're good at. All right. For me, obviously, I mentioned before my year 11 like chemistry averages weren't looking too good. All right. It takes like humble yourself. Okay. I had to go find a tutor for chemistry, and that's the only subject I had a tutor for. All right, because I knew like this is a prerequisite for me. This is what I need. I need to get him. Even if I don't want to, I need a tutor to help me make sure that I'm not gonna mess up. You know what I mean? And it takes courage to let go of your ego, and I think that's really important, especially in year 12.
And humility as well, like you mentioned.
Yeah, and humility.
And even same situation, like he's talking like from my experience as well. I was bad at chemistry, average low 40s in year 11.
Everyone's bad at chemistry, bro.
Yeah, but again, for example, he had a thing where he wanted to do tuition. I had slightly an ego, but also I just didn't really want to pay for a tutor. Again, each person to their own. But that just meant I sacrificed so much more time to focus on chemistry. For example, like even though accounting was like my best subject, I would spend so much less time, and I would spend so much more time on chemistry just to get a lower average compared to maybe me boosting other subjects. But that was again to get, like you mentioned, to understand your weakness. Don't let that be your downfall. Let that be your... Like at one point, chemistry was my best subject. As embarrassing as it is to say that, but at one point, that's how it was.
Yeah, at one point, like I was actually having fun doing chemistry, and I was like, hold on, like this isn't me. But yeah, like it's all about just like the effort you put, yeah? And everything starts clicking. In any subject you do, at one point when you're studying, everything's going to start clicking, and that's when you actually start enjoying it. Like by the end of year 12, in, let's say, methods, for example, or physics, for example, like when you like put work and you put effort and you put time into them, you're actually going to start enjoying them. Maybe some people don't think the same way. Some people wouldn't, like enjoy it, and they just think it's like a burden and that. But it's all about your mindset at the end of the day, yeah? Like, make yourself think that this isn't what people are making. This is what you want to do. This what you're doing right now, this struggle and all that is helping you achieve what you want to do. And that's like the most important thing in year 12. Just like keep your achievements in mind, keep your expectations in mind. And just remember, like, if you slack off for this sack, you never know what's going to happen in the end of the day. Like when you get your ATAR, you never know how much that's going to contribute. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I wanted to say, adding off what he said, you kind of need to learn to love what you don't love, right? You kind of need to learn to love the subjects. Just because you hate going into a method sack and you're nervous and you're scared, maybe you should consider loving that. Maybe you should consider that feeling is important and it's very real and it's something that you should appreciate, because not everything's going to make you as nervous as this, right? You need to also learn, also what he said, you need to learn your weaknesses and strengths. I learned really early on that I knew the content. That was one of my strengths. I know all the content. It's easy. You just read it, I remember it, right? And it's like, it was almost nothing to me. But I knew that my weaknesses were applying that. When I would read questions on practice sacks or tests that they would give us, I'd be like, oh, I know this stuff. I'd write it down. I'd hand it to the teacher. She'd come back. She's like, Ali, this was a horrific answer. You know the content, but you need to write it down right. And so I took that really into consideration during my study. I would do a lot of practice questions and a lot of practice sacks and exams, because I know the content. You need to write it down right, man. You need to apply it, because at the end of the day, if you know everything and you can't write it down, you're not going to get far, man. So know your strengths, know your weaknesses, and learn to love your subjects. Yeah.
So I'll just wrap that up. So Anna said, learn to learn. Basically, learn to the best. In your opinion, what is the best way to learn? Basically, is it taking notes, or is it just listening to the teacher?
So subjective, man. For example, a lot of people that I know, their best way of learning was listening to the teacher. That was not me. That's hence going back to why I didn't focus in class, was because when the teacher would like talk, it would go in one ear and leave the other ear. Maybe that's because I don't know, like I have like ADHD or something. I don't know, but that's just how I am. Like one ear out the other ear. So I was like, my way of learning was being creative with it. I showed Zayan this before, but I like doing mind maps. I like letting my brain make connections with other concepts, so that when I recall one, I immediately relate it to another. And this allowed me to kind of wrap up the whole kind of year thing. So yeah.
You like doing mind maps. What was your best technique of learning?
Practicing practice sacks and exams. So I would focus really hard into the questions and understand how I'm meant to write it, how I'm meant to formulate it, and how I'm meant to relate it back to the question.
Yeah, no, same for me, bro. The practice tests and practice exams, just bang those out, because you can like study as much content as you want. Yeah, you can read the textbook. For like all of the exams, I don't think I opened a single textbook during like the whole 2 months before exams.
Bro. Same.
Like it was just every single practice exam. Like you can ask my mates how many practice exams I've done. I think it was like 45 for methods.
Allahumma barik, bro.
45 practice exams for methods, because it got to the point where it was like, I need to do this. You know what I mean? And again, like I said before, you need to get that mentality, and it just sort of just comes in. Because in year 11, never wanted anything to do with school. I'd go out with mates every day, go play soccer, go play basketball, go play cricket.
Yeah.
And it's just like wasting time, all that. But in year 12, if you right now you're worried that you don't have enough motivation or something, first of all, if you're even watching this podcast, that means you do
That's
have
enough, bro.
That's
You
what
do
I'm
have
saying.
that.
Because you're already doing more than I did. You know what I mean? And you've already made like a larger step than I did. But if you don't have that kind of motivation and stuff, just remember that once year 12 kicks in, and you have that first sack day coming through, you're automatically just gonna like switch on. And yeah.
Yeah, and I know you wanted to wrap it up, but I just wanted to point out that a lot of people like practice sacks, and I think that's a go-to formula for a lot of people. Or practice exams, smashing out practice exams. That was not for me. He opened up 45 exams. For accounting, the subject I got my highest in, I did max like 5 exams. Same with most of my subjects. I couldn't focus on them. Or even when I did it, I'd have a mate around just like this, just doing questions, talking about stuff like that. Like emulate exam conditions 100%. For example, like when I would go to a SAC without any practice, like even if I knew all the content, I would just freeze up. So definitely emulate exam conditions. But again, know your source. In exam time, instead of opening up an exam, I would go to the library. Like I was in the library for so much, and all I would do is just teach my friends. I would rather have my book closed, teach my friends, have them write it down, or have them kind of like engage with me. That helped for me so much more than doing practice exams. So again, know your source, but at the same time, if something's not broke, don't fix it. If I did a lot of practice exams instead of teaching, I'm sure that would have worked as well. But again, I like choosing the more fun route, and I like doing something that for me like works, and that's what worked for me instead.
One thing I realized we haven't mentioned is like time management in year 12, because that's something I really struggled with to start with. Yeah, I think it was in term 2 or something. I deleted Instagram, deleted TikTok, deleted Snapchat. Nothing's on my phone. I had a screen time of like half an hour sometimes. Like some days just like no phone and all that.
Next level,
but, bro, it was.
Yeah.
I used to get bagged for it, bro. Like this doesn't have socials or that. But obviously you don't need to. But if you choose to, just remember you have a lot more time that's opening up for yourself. Not everyone needs to. For me, I did, because either I wasn't on my phone or I was on my phone for like 6 hours, 7 hours, not getting to study. You know what I mean? So if you can balance it, Allah Mabarak, bro, like you've got this, you know what I mean?
Better man than me.
Yeah, no, but if you can, like if you can't focus and stuff, then you've got to let it go, bro, because you need to think about it. Like that 2 hours you watch TikTok could have been spent doing, let's say you share chemistry. You could have done chemistry, done a whole like 2-3 chapters right there. So it's all about time management, man.
For sure.
I think you gotta bang out the hard work first before you go and rest.
Yeah.
So like I said before, I would come back from school and I would just relax for like 3 hours, 4 hours before I even do anything. That's because you have to do the work and then go relax, man.
Yeah.
Just like he was saying, you gotta sit down, you gotta do the hours, you gotta do the work. Some weeks, I didn't even do much work because there wasn't much to do, but you gotta do what you have to do. If it's required, you do it. Simple as that.
Yeah, time management, again, like I said, in my first 2 terms where I was doing really good in SACs, I was going gym, I was doing all that stuff. I was so busy that the time I had free, I had to study. Like there was no other option. So that's when I got my deep work done. But then again, when I had a lot of time, I ended up just wasting most of it. So again, you want to be able to use your time correctly.
But that's one of the things, because when I think of year 12 and getting a 98, I just think, you know what, cave mode on, just no gym, no boxing, no sports, nothing, no hanging out with friends.
No
just
way.
Stay in your room and just study.
You don't need to study that much.
No.
Yeah.
Is my perception right? Or
Nah.
You should cut. I mean, my personal opinion, you should cut a couple things. Maybe stop going gym. Or like cut that back. Like maybe once a week or something. But you don't need to study every living moment, because that's not going to do much anyway, bro. You're just going to be sitting there, looking at the words. You're not even like listening. You got to do deep study. You got to do deep work, stuff that's effective. Like he was saying, you got to be effective with your study, because if you're not, you're just doing through the motions, bro. And going through the motions is not gonna get you the end goal.
Yeah, and caveman, nah, that's not gonna work, because I tried that. That was my most unproductive time.
it's depressing as well.
It's depressing, but then at the same time, you have to differ. Like when you have time, if you're at home all the time, you're gonna want to have a break. Having a break at home, in my opinion, is worse than anything else, because then you're like, if I'm studying and then I'm on my phone at the same desk I'm studying, I'm gonna associate that with my phone. But when I go gym or I go out with a mate and then I'm at home, I'm like, because I wasted my time out, I have to now study, and that helped so much more. For example, at the start of the year, I went drag. I was playing basketball. For a team. I was doing gym, and I was doing like other stuff, going out with friends, going city weekends, all that type of stuff. And a lot of people, for example, they have like a lot of work and stuff. Like for example, like work outside. You can drop it, like in terms, like when it comes to exam time. If you feel like you're getting stressed out, drop it. But at the same time, you want to be able to balance stuff out. And when you go hard in one, you're gonna like, it ends up like backfailing, or at least for my experience. I know some people, when they deleted all social media, they went hard. Like even like he mentioned, he went hard on year 12. When I was going gym, that's when I was like peak. When I was going out with mates, when I was going out late to like dinners and stuff, that's when I was like, oh my God, I wasted 3 hours on a dinner with mates. What the hell am I doing? I actually now have to study. And that worked so much more for me, that regret of wasting time out, that now I have to spend time, instead of that regret of being at home and doing work, but it's just like slowly and slow, you know? So yeah, I mean, again, do what you want, but Caveman's so drag, bro, I can't lie.
It is very depressing as well.
Yeah.
I've done it like once before. I've done a year 12 exam and all I did was just in my room, study. It was like,
No, it's depressing, bro.
it's like you want to kill yourself. That's how depressing it is.
Bro,
How did you feel about it?
I mean, I was about to say, if anything, yeah, this just shows that everyone has like the different methods.
Yeah.
Because obviously, looking back at it now, looking back at year 12, I don't remember any of those times like I grinded out and stuff. You know what I mean?
Neither.
All I remember is just the time I went out with my mates this time, or like the time we did this at school, or like this time we did some weird shit in lunch or something, you know what I mean? And it's just kind of like everyone has different methods.
Yeah.
Obviously, for you, like the whole man cave thing seems like a really bad idea, but then for me, in the moment, it didn't feel like it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
There you
again, yeah, it's just like,
Each their own.
yeah.
Nah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, my methods might not work with everyone, and that's just the reality of it, man. You got to find what works for you. And I know people are like, oh, but I want the secret answer. There is no secret answer, man. There is no, do this and you'll get a 98 ATAR, bro. It's not how reality works, bro.
And again, also, don't even use, like, you can use, we're dropping source, but at the end of the day, I watched so many YouTube videos of like people doing ATAR and stuff. And what I found most was my own personal experience, like testing out different stuff. That's when I found out towards the end what my source was. Whether doing caveman, doing that other stuff, you're going to have to test it out for yourself. So our advice may be the greatest thing that's going to help you get that 99.95 better than us. Or it may just be, again, I think it's going to be helpful because it's 3 different people with 3 different perspectives. And I think we're like attacking all angles. For example, me having a fun experience. I mean, not saying you didn't have fun. I'm just saying me just going out 24/7 versus him going caveman. And we both reaped our benefits in our own separate ways.
So that's a lot of things to indulge in.
Yeah.
But-
Pause, take notes. Trust me.
Yep. So basically, what we'll do now, we'll take a little break, and then we'll just go for the people's question, and we'll wrap it up. But before that, I just got a question. Do you guys listen to music while you're working,
Nah, bro. Nah.
studying, or not?
I can't lie. I listen to lo-fi. I'm a guy that, because I live in a really, if you're Moroccan or if you're Moroccan, households aren't quiet, brother. They're not quiet. You will hear arguing 24/7 over the smallest stuff. So I needed to block that out somehow. And for me, that was by lo-fi. And also, it doesn't have to be that, but for me, putting on my earphones was a trigger for me to deep work. So again, nowadays, I don't listen to music when I study because the household's quiet down a bit. And also, I have a different trigger for that. Sorry, my bad. There's a different trigger for studying, but for me, that was headphones. And in my opinion, it doesn't have to be music. But yeah, that was my...
You don't listen to music?
No, I mean, I would sometimes put music on every now and again when I got bored, but yeah, people saying, oh, music makes me study better. No, it doesn't, bro. It just makes it more fun,
Yeah, that's the thing.
Because you need to consider that. Unless you listen to lo-fi music, for me,
lo-fi's different.
I'd say lo-fi music. 2 minutes later, Travis Scott's on. We're having a whole concert.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, no. I used to have like these R&B concerts in my room, but that's why I used to like block the stuff out. Only have like the YouTube, like the 3-hour playlist, because that's the thing. I think it's literally like you can only focus with music that doesn't have lyrics in. If it has lyrics in, brother,
done,
your mind's...
One thing I found that worked was listening to the sheets really helped me study. Because like it's a mashallah thing, but it's because I can't understand what they're saying.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't speak Arabic. Yeah. So like I listen to, I'm vibing to, and then like I feel like, oh, halal and stuff. My whole Spotify like rap last year All five of them
Yeah.
were nasheeds.
That's
Mashallah.
mashallah.
All five
That's
of
good.
them,
Which
bro.
one was your favorite?
It was one of the Mahazain ones, bro. It was Rahmatullah Alameen, bro.
Yeah.
What about you guys? Favorite nasheeds?
I mean, I used to listen to Nasheed quite a bit, but you know, I haven't. Not really right now. Can't lie. You know.
My favorite was Al Hijab, but the only problem is, the reason I didn't listen to Nasheed while studying was because like one time I'm listening to Nasheed, next thing I'm like sparring in my room, like like
Like jihadi nasheeds?
yeah, the jihadi Nasheed. Next thing you know, I'm in the gym trying to
I would
deadlift.
listen to Nasheed going to exams. Though, just saying.
Huh?
I would listen to Nasheed going to exams.
Nah, Quran for me before
Yeah.
the thing was amazing,
I'd
but
read Ayat al-Kursi before as well.
yeah, never. If you do decide to listen to music, never listen to it on the day of a sack or an exam, because in the
Bro,
middle
that
of
is
it,
stuck in your
it's
head.
just gonna get stuck in your head, and it's the worst thing. Like I remember someone picked me up and we were playing like Katy Perry in the car. Oh, brother, worst experience ever, man. Oh my god.
You know, studies even show like people that study with music perform worse than people that don't study. I'm sorry, don't listen to music. But that's also because you need to consider that your brain can only do so much at one time. You need your brain to be empty for you to gain more information. Okay, let's like use an analogy. You have a cup of water, right? So you have a cup. You're trying to put water in it. Yeah. If you also put juice and then you put some water, it's going to be diluted. It's not going to be fully water. You know what I mean? That's exactly how
It's
it
a
is
good.
in music.
It's a good one.
Yeah,
That's a
and
good
like,
one.
Damn. So like when you're studying, yeah. Stay cooking, bro. Now when you're studying, you have that orange juice coming in. That's the music and stuff.
yeah.
But you need that water, and yeah.
Perfect. All right, so now my back is hurting, and I just wanna.
I'm thirsty, bro.
We'll take a break, and then we'll ask some of the people's questions, and then drop some final motivational. Whatever.
Maybe we talk about uni.
Oh yeah.
I want to talk about uni, bro.
You wanna talk about uni as well?
He's not in here.
He's not in uni,
He's not in
brother.
yet. He just
No, we
graduated.
don't have to. We don't have to. We don't have to. Yeah.
I'll just ask some controversial topics, just a few more things, and we'll wrap it up, inshallah.
Inshallah.
So we'll just have a break. So,
Yeah.
Ali, we were talking before, and Ali said the ATAR is a scam, which was something I heard for the first time, and many people, of course, disagree. But I'll sort of explain what do you mean by ATAR is a scam.
So ATAR is a scam because it's very around. It surrounds your circumstances and your position, and like your. Let's say you go private school, you're gonna always get better than public school students because those private school students are gonna have more materials. They're gonna have better teachers. They're gonna have like-minded individuals with them. Public school students are more at risk with an influx of people that don't care about their education. They have less materials. They have less time. Let's say they're working because they have to support their family. It's a very skewed system, and you can pay your way into getting a phenomenal ATAR. So if you guys remember C's, there is a kind of a workaround with that. If you're a regional school, you get extra ATAR points. Now, what rich people do is they go to a private school, like a Catholic school or private school outside of the metropolitan area of Melbourne, and they'll pay tuitions in the 30,000s,
So it's
40,000s.
not a fair game. That's
Not a
what
fair game, man. People out there who have money and have resources are always going to perform better than you, but that doesn't stop you from getting a phenomenal ATAR. Like me, like him, and like him as well. Just because he went to a selective school doesn't mean he had to face his own challenges. Susan Corey is the worst selective school out of all the selective schools. He still had his battle. So, yeah, the game's rigged. Don't be too sad when you get not the best ATAR because they've designed for you to fail, man. It's how the game works. If you have money, then, you'll be fine. But if you don't, you're just going to have to put extra hours in, extra work.
Yeah. And to build onto that one, I like classifying it into like 3 different categories. There's selective, there's public, and then there's private. They each have their own benefits, very less in terms of public, but selective school, it still is technically like a public type of school. It's just, you obviously need to do a test. So the benefit of a selective school is the environment. It's mostly the environment. I had a teacher at Susan Corey that was at our school. And she told me, like, in terms of resources, in terms of everything, in terms of like the smartness of people, it's not the greatest difference with the public school. It's more just that they have a nice environment there. And I'm sure we have a Susan Corey student that can attest to that.
Let's hear from you now.
I'd say the biggest difference going to Suzanne Cory compared to like a public school is the environment, as you said, but also the fact that everyone there chose to sit the selective exam, so they're all there for academics. You know what I mean? In public schools, you'd find there's obviously kids, people like you, that are there for the education. There's also people just there, like you mentioned before, just to meet their girlfriends, just to do drugs, just be there because they have to be in school. You know what I mean? So that's one of the reasons why selective schools have a better environment. Because let's say you go to a private school, okay, you're gonna find rich kids there that are just there because the parents are paying for the fees. You know what I mean? They do whatever. They can't get kicked out because the parents can just pay the school off. And I feel like there's always issues because even in the public school, being Suzanne Cory, it was like you mentioned the worst public school. Sorry, the worst
Selective.
selective. My bad, I'm bugging, bro. No, but it's the worst selective school, and there was no ACs in the school. There's only fans, and not every classroom has a fan. There's no doors in any of the classrooms. We're so broke, like we can't ask anyone, like, because obviously it's not a private school, it's a government school. We don't have the funds for like barely anything that the rest of these other selective schools do, even though they're government as well. But because they're ranked higher, they get more of these facilities.
Yeah.
So it's not one of those ones where I'm not being grateful for being a selective school, but I wouldn't say it's the perfect environment to be in because obviously you will always have like people that are down and then people that are up as well.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you're not in a selective school going to year 12, you can't really change that. You can't change that you're not in a private school. You can change is your mentality about it. And obviously, you guys, having finished public school, like, you would know that if you had a different mentality, if you were just like stuck in like I'm in a public school, there's no point of trying type of mentality, you wouldn't be where you are.
You need to recognize that you're going to a public school and that if the game is placed against you, you're still that guy, you're still that individual that's able to finish the job, right? You can do whatever the hell you want. Just because you're in a public school doesn't mean you can't do well. So, I mean, I can attest for that. Went to a public school, really, really bad, not one of the great ones, but yeah, you can still do good. And another thing I wanted to add on is Atar is actually, if you think, oh, just because the environment's bad, I'll still do good. Your ATAR is calculated with the individuals around you. It is based on ranking. It is based on other people doing well in their classes as well. So don't think just because I'll do good, I'll do amazing, doesn't mean that other people aren't going to have an effect on you. But you still can do good, and especially if you go to public school, you get C's, so you got facilities for that. But don't be too hurt if you get like a raw ATAR that's not as good as you'd hoped.
So it is an unfair game, but you reckon effort could?
Effort beats it anyway.
Okay, so effort could. So you can still put in the work. There's no excuse.
Yeah.
So another one of the questions is asked by some of the people. If you could go back in time to year 12, what would be something you could change? What would that one thing be, or two things, or whatever you want?
Not much. I'll be real. I don't have anything.
Not
I'd
much
say,
either.
For me, I regret not having enough fun. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
especially after meeting you guys, like it just hits me. Like I haven't lived my life in year 12, and that's kind of something you need to focus on because obviously in the moment maybe you won't feel it because in the moment I didn't really feel it. Like I didn't feel like I'm missing out on going out and all of this stuff. But then after you graduate, even though the ATAR was good, but I'll get back to that. But when you don't go out and stuff, and then you see like the memories your friends have made, you're like, oh, I could have been there. You know what I mean? It's just like you get like a sense of like regret. But then at the same time, would you rather regret missing out that one time, or would you have to regret not getting the ATAR you wanted? You know what I mean?
100%. You never want to. You have to balance out the type of future you look. Obviously, I had a lot of fun, but it was definitely like I still worked hard at the end of the day. And you have to say, while you didn't, maybe you're like, oh, I could have had more fun. Other people may look at it like, oh, I should have had less fun. And while year 12 is a one-time experience, and obviously you're not going to be around the same people because university is a different type of thing, but at the same time you have to balance whether that those memories are worth more than what you want to do in the future. So it's subjective, and obviously you can do it to your own situation. For example, I would have had less fun if, for example, I was supposed to do the UCAT, but then identification passport scenario happened different. So that's why I kind of mellowed out and just had much more fun towards the end of the year. But again, if you're going for a goal that high, don't be scared to, like, if your friends are going to parties, if they're just going out and stuff, never be scared to be like, oh, damn, I'm missing out. You're not, because at the end of the day, while I say I had a lot of fun, at the end of the day, they're just memories. They're not something that are gonna last long. And whereas something where I'm trying to build success for my future, I'd rather do that because that has a much more deeper impact onto my life looking forward than just having fun and making memories. Because I'm sure more people will be like, bro, going to parties every week was more fun. Maybe it was. Maybe you did have more fun than year 12, but at the same time, I'm fine. I can live past that, you know.
You're content.
I'm content. Yeah. I again, that's it. All goes down to balance again. Whatever you want to do, but at the same time, never live with regrets. The reason why I don't have much to say about what I wish I did instead in year 12 is because I always thought just like you make one decision, life's gonna move past without you. If you waste time just thinking, I should have done this, I should have done that, or I could have done this, could have done that, it's stupid. So that's why I always look at people that are like in year 11, oh, I didn't do the best. It is what it is, you know? Like you can flip like...
Which is part of the next question.
Yeah.
Talk about that. So what were some... So of course you guys had some points where low points. You have low points and you have the good points. You have Badrs and Uhuds. So how did you guys deal with that low point of, no motivation, basically no hope? How did you guys deal with that kind of moments?
I reckon there's two answers. I have two answers for this. I could say discipline, but I would be a lie if I said I was disciplined the whole entire time. There were definitely moments where at the point it was like, I literally don't want to do anything else. But that's when you have moments where you need to surround yourself with people, or you need to surround yourself in a system where it's like, even if you literally don't want to do anything, like you're forced to. For example, in year 12, until now, I never had my own room. So I could never stay in my room because either my brother was there or it was just closed. It was literally just my bed and that's it. And my mum would take my phone away from me. So it was like, even at my lowest times where it's like, I didn't want to do anything. I was just tired of it, burnt out. I was still at my desk and I still had no other choice but to work. So I guess that, and then also just having people around you, for example, whether that be your mother, whether that be family members or even friends, just get them to be with positive people. That's why that lone wolf thing doesn't work out too well unless you're disciplined, like more disciplined than me, which I'm sure most of you guys are. I'm the most disciplined person. But that's why I have that people around me that are like, yo, like when I did bad in the sack, everyone's looking at me like, oh, what the hell? Are you good, bro? Like, this ain't you. I'm like, you're right, Like having those people around to just violate me, like as weird as it sounds, I had people in my class that were like, anytime I would do like bad, I couldn't do worse than them. There were certain people, they probably don't even know it, but I had like targets. Like, if this guy gets higher than me, I'm gonna end it right now. Like, as bad as that sounds, like that's how deep it was. Yeah. And these guys probably don't have zero idea that I thought this way. But you want to have steps where it's like you want to have boundaries. So, for example, my boundary was not getting lower than this person, but then another boundary was literally like not being able to go on my phone as much, or forcing myself to go to the library or somewhere where even in my low moments, like, I would work no matter what.
I'd say motivation fills the holes of discipline. Your discipline is going to carry you much further than your motivation. Just because you're motivated doesn't mean it's going to last you a week or a month, let alone a year. So you need to build that foundation of doing what you don't want to do, because that's just, that's life, man. You're going to have to wake up, you're going to have to work, you're going to have to do stuff you don't want to do, but that's important. You're going to have to do it anyway. So, yeah, when you're undisciplined, your motivation is going to carry you. When that motivation runs dry, your discipline is going to carry you. But yeah, so that, and also what he was saying with the support systems, you need the support of your family, you need the support of your friends. Lone wolf won't take you very far because you might stray a little bit sometimes. So yeah, get people to hold you accountable, and yeah.
Kind of just attesting to both of you. We'll start with yours. When like my lowest point I'd say in year 12 was right after I sat the UCAT, because the way it is, you get your result like straight away. So I finished the UCAT, and like I take the elevator down. I'm walking, and I know I've messed up. Like I know I've done really bad. And you need to keep in mind that before this, 2 month like a month and a half, 2 months, I was just banging out like UCAT practice tests and all that.
Yeah.
So the disappointment that hit me in that moment when like I opened it and it wasn't what I wanted. It's just because obviously with ATAR you have C's and like you have stuff to help you like still get to where you want.
Yeah.
But when you mess up a UCAT, you've messed
You
it up.
messed it up,
There's nothing
yeah.
you can do about it. So that was probably my lowest low. But then alhamdulillah, I feel like I've dealt with it well, because like we discussed before, like you always get those lows which give you even more motivation. And
Yeah.
that seeing like that UCAS score being so low, I was like, I'm gonna bang out everything else in school,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna get an ATAR. That makes me forget that the UCAT ever even happened.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, same situation with me. I missed out the UCAT, so then I'm like, I can't not do UCAT and have a bad ATAR. And I'm sure you felt the exact same way. Like, I would be like, I can't. That's embarrassing. I can't live with that. I'm sure you felt the same with that. But yeah,
Yeah.
you can continue.
Yeah. And other thing, what were you saying about what was your point again?
Motivation fills the whole of
Oh,
discipline.
yeah, that's one. So you need to have discipline. Discipline is the most important thing about year 12, because you'd come home tired as hell. You just wanna only thing you wanna do is get in your bed and sleep for like the whole day. Just wake up the next day, go back to school again. But discipline is what carries you throughout the year, because everyone has the lows and their highs, yeah. You need your discipline to carry you through the lows, and the motivation you get in your highs is because of the discipline you had in your lows. And it's kind of just going through the motions like that. It's life. Like it applies to everything else, not just year 12. But having discipline and sticking to the target, sticking to the goal, and just never kind of backing down from it.
You got to be a bit crazy.
Yeah,
Simple as that.
yeah.
Yeah, and in terms of goals, I know, a long-term goal, for example, like an ATAR, you may be like, oh, it's so far away. So then, when you want to chill out in bed instead of study, you'll be like, oh, bro, ATAR's so far away. One thing I did is I would always separate my goals into short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals. Short-term goal may just be to smash out 2 hours of study. A mid-term goal may be to just get 95% of this sack right, and then the long-term goal would be obviously a certain ATAR. But yeah, I think that's a good tip that worked for myself to get me with direction, and I guess squeeze out the little bit of motivation I could, like just maximize it. But then yeah, obviously discipline is also very important.
All right. So now some of the questions people have. We'll try to keep it short so we
Yeah.
can get all of them.
Sounds good.
So we'll give you each of you like try to keep it short, like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right. So keep it like fast paced. So one of the questions is, did you guys utilize external resources such as tutoring, study groups, or online forums?
VCE Rocks. It's a document online, like it's a document website. Got a bunch of old exams, new exams. It's a really useful resource. Reddit's also great, and having friends study groups right before SACs or exams is also great.
Also, if you've done like a year 12 subject in year 11, you're gonna have. Wait, did you guys have like study periods?
Yeah.
Like those free
Yeah.
periods? Those free periods are really important. Like they are basically 2 straight periods of you doing whatever you want. Use those wisely, and that kind of gives you like the social space to learn. And again, like I said, there's VC Rocks, there's ATAR Notes, there's a lot of stuff you can use as resources, especially for like English and stuff. But if you are like heading towards the end of the year, have exams coming up, I'd definitely recommend VC Rocks as well, because they have like every practice exam you can imagine.
Yeah. The study design was my number one resource. It literally tells you what's on the exam, and if your teachers use it right, it's going to tell you what's on the SAC. So although it's available for everyone, use that like as your like book of like where to get information from. And another one, YouTube again. for example, there's different YouTubers that focus on their subject, and also, for example, when I was learning how to learn, I can study YouTube channel and Arch and Newton as well. They helped as well. I don't know why I'm plugging them on this podcast. My bad.
No, it's good. We'll put the links in the description. If you guys have any YouTubers that you looked up to, you can say them as well.
Done.
No, that was basically it for me, to be honest. Those two.
Inshallah. I will put the links for that, and we'll put the link for VCU Rocks as well. And for these guys as well, you can get tutorship from these guys, inshallah. Very good people. So one of another questions was, looking back, what are you most proud of during your high school journey?
Getting my revenge. Getting that grade 8, even though everyone doubted me.
Yeah, I'm getting a high score in accounting, even though my teacher said I wasn't gonna do it because I took the piss out of her in class. So yeah, that was pretty nice.
I think it was probably methods, to be honest, bro, because I just bummed out in class and then ended up getting the study score I wanted. So it's just, yeah.
One of the other questions was, how did you guys choose your subjects that tailor to your pathway and interest? Probably not do this. We'll do. Were there any subjects you found particularly challenging, and how did you adjust these challenges? I think we sort of answered this when we talked about weaknesses,
Yeah.
learning to learn. If there's anything else you want to mention about this, or
Nah.
I think, again, just find a tutor for the subjects that you think you're weak in, but also don't fully rely on your tutor, because tutors once or twice a week, you need to study every alternate day, try doing that same subject. You know what I mean? Like, let's say you're really good at methods, but you suck at chemistry like me. You limit methods to, like we were talking about, in SAC time, not close to exams. Once every 3 days for methods, if you're good at it, and once every 2 days for chemistry if you're bad at it, because that's what gives you, like, brings up the level.
So this question is, what was some? So how did you guys manage your time effectively, especially during, like, how did you guys manage your time effectively, Yani? Like, how many hours did you guys study in a day, and how did you balance it with academics and physical health as well?
I scheduled and also had a routine. So, for example, I would always, the same day I would go to the library. For example, like Thursdays, I would always be at the library. Or, like I said, that time period between Asr and Maghrib. Or, for example, like coming back from school to like your dinner time, whatever it may be. That's always time for study, no matter the subject, no matter the day. But in terms of time managing with scheduling, always keep in mind when your sacks are. For example, if you have a week where there's 4 sacks, keep that in mind. And yeah.
I kind of freelanced it. I didn't really, schedule much, but I always put important things first. Study comes first. If you're not studying effectively and you notice that you're studying, I would take a break and then come back. So put what's important first, and then after that, who cares? You got free time now.
Kind of just, what's the question again?
So how did you guys your routine?
Oh, time management.
Yeah.
It's like,
How many hours did you study in a day and all that?
yeah, so it differed, like you said, from like SAC week to like just normal weeks. I'd say normal weeks, maybe 2-3 hours of study is more than enough. Because when you're in the stage of just learning content, you should be like sufficient with 3 hours, especially if you should be alternating subjects as well, because mentioning back to like the strengths and weaknesses, you know what you need to focus on more, you know what you're good at. And VC is a weird thing where I know we've talked about how you need to focus on weaknesses, but you also need to strengthen your strengths, because end of the day it's based on ranking, yeah. And if you struggle with chemistry and you do really good at methods, sometimes it is worth it to just bang out methods more. Like, let's say you're ranked 2, you might as well just put the extra effort in that you would have given to chemistry into just getting a better study score in methods instead. You know what I mean? And time management, just it kind of just comes based on your priorities between your subjects.
Sorry, just to answer real quickly the question at the end there, most days I would maybe study 30 minutes. The worst of days I would study the whole like until I slept, but that was maybe like 4 times in the whole year. Didn't do that often, but yeah, maybe like an hour tops. Average maybe 45 minutes.
Also, another thing that I used to do, this kind of counteracts your thing. So sometimes in SAC week, I would study more, like B thing. But also, if you have spare time, study for your SACs earlier. I remember the day before the SAC, I dead set like, I almost wouldn't study because I don't want to stress myself out the day before, but also because I prepared well enough so much before that there was barely anything else to do.
Is that
So.
what you guys did as well?
Sorry.
Is that what you guys did as well?
I would, I mean, right before the sax, I would do practice sax, but not in practice sax conditions.
Yeah.
I would just, bang it out, do it quick, get the whole thing, get the ideas circulating in my head and then sleep on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did the same?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so we got that out the way. Okay, so now, again, we've done this before, but if you have anything to say about this, what advice would you give to students who are aiming to get a high ATAR? Actually, you know what? We'll leave this for the end, like a motivational one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like a final thingy. What lessons have you learned about yourself through this process? Now, this is all about you guys.
Through year 12?
Through the whole process of working hard, getting the ATAR, like what did you learn about yourself?
I can do anything. Like it's a bit of an ego thing, but yeah, I can do anything I put my mind to. So that was a big lesson.
It definitely does feed to my ego a bit, doing well.
Yeah.
But obviously it is worth it. Like I don't feel bad about having this ego because I put in the work, you know what I mean? And it's a good type of ego. It's more confidence than ego, I'd say.
Yeah. Going on to that, it just means that when you get a high ATAR, it's more like, hey, if I put my mind to it, I can do it. So if I'm not, if it's really all about, hey, I need to put the effort into a goal, and confirming that through ATAR or maybe sports or something, but being able to do that just gives you that confidence boost for anything like you strive for, because you now have that history, you have that reputation for yourself, or you have that resume that you've done it before.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, because that's kind of deviated from the question, but something year 12 taught me about myself was that if I have a target, I go towards it hard, and I would try my best to get towards it. Like you mentioned before about shoot for the moon and land in the stars type of stuff. Like you might not get to where you want to be at, but you'll get very close to it. And sometimes you need to consider that maybe if you weren't aiming for the moon, you wouldn't have even made it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's very powerful that, if I, for example, I'm going to do mine this year, and if I set my mind to it, and if I do it, it's like, well, whatever I put my mind to, I can achieve.
Yeah.
Which, of course, gives me an ego boost, which means I can perform way better in other things and tasks and stuff.
It definitely carries through.
Yeah, I think even with you, Zayan, this kind of is gonna go into motivational words, but what I think of year 12 is challenge yourself. Ask yourself this question: do you have it or not? Can you get it or not? Either you get it or you don't. So if you want to prove to yourself that you don't have that, if you want to succumb to your desires and stuff, well, then that's the type of person you are, and that's going to say something about your future.
There's no plan B, basically. We can learn this from, I'll link a bit of Islam with this as well. There was, Tariq ibn Ziyad, one military commander, or I think someone else, when he was conquering Spain or one of these areas, the army was attacking and there was a sea behind them. So what he did was, he said, we either win or die.
That's
So the
it.
people, they had a little bit of this. So what he did was he burned all the boats.
You bend the boats, yeah, that's
So
the
They
one.
couldn't go back. So that's a very strong thing, that there's no plan B. Just either you do it, you don't do it. That's a very strong thing.
Even that burn the boats thing, I use it as a technique. You just reminded me of a technique I used to do. For example, what I used to do is I need to get this essay done in an hour and a half, and I would set consequences for myself. If I don't do it, I'm giving my phone out to my mum for 2 weeks and she can't give it back to me. The harsher the consequence, the more productive it makes you. And obviously, stay true to your consequences. As soon as you say, nah, I'm not going to give my mum the phone or something, that's when your desires, or for us, it will be shaitan. He'd just be like, that's it.
Did you really want it in the first place if you're not going to follow through the consequences? You
Yeah,
know?
there you
That's
go.
a question you got to answer.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. Would someone's asking, would someone choosing English standard over advanced affect their ATAR scaling?
Say that again?
Would someone choosing English over what's
That's why I didn't move over.
would someone choosing English standard over advanced affect their ATAR scaling?
Advanced English.
That's like
I
the
mean, English language.
English language, yeah, because that one scales up. Not really. Play it to your powers. If it's not advanced or it's not English language, would you rather do more creative stuff, or if not, or if your school doesn't like offer it, like it's literally not that deep of a problem. English is still English. English advanced isn't like gonna like just because it scales up, it most likely means you scale up because everyone does worse than normal English.
You need to consider that it scales up a lot for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if it's scaling up that much, are you really up for the challenge? You know what I mean? Like I did normal English and I got a 41. Yeah.
Mashallah.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. But you don't need to do English language to get a good scaling. You know what I mean? Like you could just do normal English and do really well in it.
Yeah. Even in scaling in terms of in general, my highest subject was a subject that only scaled up by 1 compared to methods, which I did was supposed to scale up by 5. I did good in it, but it wasn't in my top 3 because the other ones I just did better in. So never take scaling as a sole purpose.
Yeah.
All right. Anything to say or no?
No.
All right. Next question sort of ties into that. How do you study for English?
I really prioritize understanding the book holistically. You need to understand what the book is about, what the author is trying to produce out of you, and what the ideas is trying to elicit.
So this is not reading summaries. You actually read the book.
Read the book, understand what it's saying, and communicate with other people what the book is trying to say. What I found really useful for English was talking to my friend about the book. We did The Longest Memory and
7 Stages of Grieving.
7 Stages of Grieving.
Yeah.
And we would talk about how this poem is talking about maybe, R word or, cumulative racism oppressing a society. And we would just connect dots, and you need to understand the book as it is, as a whole, and as its indistinctive parts. So, yeah, you just communicate about the book a lot. You need to read it. Don't just look at summaries. Summaries isn't good enough for year 12. That's for year 11. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm actually not going to add anything. I'll let Gus talk for us because he's the one that's went hard. 41 study score in English. MashaAllah, man.
Alhamdulillah, bro.
Drop us the sauce.
Yeah, no, I was hoping we'd talk about English today because that's like the one subject everyone does.
Yeah.
I'd say one piece of advice that stuck with me. My teacher was like a great guy. Like, I love you, Mr. Campbell, bro. Like, that's my dog, bro. But
Shout out,
he
Mr.
gave me-
Campbell.
He gave me one piece of advice, and that was be a conceptual speaker. You in English, yeah, you have so many people trying to talk about the same thing. Everyone has a similar topic sentence that they're talking about. What are you giving the examiner that should make him mark you higher?
Yeah.
Everyone can stick to like the same structure for every single one. What
Yeah.
are you actually giving him?
Exactly.
Because he's gonna get bored of reading like those many of the same things. Be a conceptual speaker. You need to formulate concepts. The books you learn, like he said, holistically read them. You need to learn what the book is. Don't just read to them. Learn about the book. Apply yourself in those situations that the people in the book are in, and that's what helped me the most in English. Like, but I will admit I've only read like one book fully. The rest of them all just chapter summaries and stuff.
Fair enough.
But that's because I read chapter summaries and then I kind of used this advice of like conceptual learning and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what really helped me in English.
Yeah.
Be able to convey your concepts and ideas. Because if you can't, then obviously you won't do good in creative writing or like basically anything in English.
Yeah. Also, just to add on to that, there was this one SAC I got an A on, even though I only wrote an introduction and one paragraph. And all my friends were like, "What the hell? You got higher than me? What the hell?" And what I noticed is English everyone has the same topic, everyone has the same paragraph, everyone has the same amount of writing pages, whatever. It's not about how much you write, or it's more about the value you provide. When you're talking about one topic, what value do you provide to the marker that gives them so much more information and so much more understanding about the book without having read the book?
Yeah, it's all about quality, bro. Like,
There
it's not how much you write. It's all about the quality of your writing.
For sure, bro, for sure. Because I was a really slow writer, also because I have hyperhidrosis, really sweaty hands. So anytime I'd write, like, it would just, I can't be asked. It's just hard. So I would just prioritize, again, writing more quality over quantity and giving them value. For example, in the 2 comparative books, giving them a comparison that you don't just see online. Everyone knows what Lisa Study Guides is. Everyone knows all these resources. Everyone's probably memorized these same single essays. What can you do to like differentiate yourself? Because at the end of the day, it's a ranking. So giving them a point of view that is beneficial from reading the books yourself, giving them a point of view about how you view this certain concept that obviously you can back up with evidence and stuff, but giving them a point of view that they've never seen is like, markers love that. They eat that up, bro.
Yeah, now, it might be like a bit hypocritical, but I hated English. But that's because you need to have like so much brain work and like you can't shut down for even a second. Like if you're doing methods or something, let's say, you could just go on autopilot and like all the questions are the same, blah blah blah. In English, you need to cook, bro.
Yeah,
like
simple
you need to
as
cook, or the dish is gonna get burnt. You know what I mean? Like you just gotta it's just gotta keep going.
That's it.
Anything else?
No.
So that's English. So it's basically, I'll summarize it. So with English, it's about writing from your own point of view and becoming different, and the quality over quantity, basically.
Yeah.
And
The value.
Reading the book was another advice, because what I did was just read summaries all my time, all my basically I've just read summaries. Too lazy to read the books, but I'll take that into account, inshallah. So why did you guys try so hard? That's the question.
Had something to prove.
Why did you try so hard? Brother, who's writing? Okay. I mean, you gotta try hard, bro. Like, you
This
have
carries over.
1 year to get an ATAR. Nothing else you did before, nothing else you did after will change that number. If you don't care
But
about
why? You can just muck around and be a tradie and then, live a normal, average life.
well, if you're trying to do that, you wouldn't really be on this podcast right now, would you?
Yeah.
Sometimes you're gonna do something that you don't want to do, and if you can't get a good ATAR, how are you gonna run a business? How are you gonna, how are you gonna have that effort to get up and be a tradie, right? You need to do stuff you don't want to do. Simple, yeah.
Yeah. Why did I try hard? That money my brother promised me was to like, no way, just for a year of studying. That's
2000
lightweight.
ain't that much, bro.
Huh?
2000 ain't that much. That's like a week of
Brother,
warehousing, bro.
for me in year 12, never worked, like didn't do no work, no nothing.
It
Brother,
was that other world.
$20 is cash. You give me $20 cash, I'm eating that up in year 12, brother. I was down bad when it came to
I
that.
do some atrocious stuff for like a Pepsi, bro.
I know, bro. Oh my God. Canteen? No, you don't want to hear stories about me, man. That's damn, man. But yeah, that 2000 for me, because I didn't know what warehousing was. I was like, 1 year of just 8-hour work for 2000. But obviously, that's not applicable to everyone. If you can, try talk to your mum or something. Be like, yo, mum, if I get like a 90 plus 8. Also, I was smart. I invested early in year 10 when I was a dumbass. Excuse my profanity. I told my mum, if I get above 80 ATAR, I told my brother, let's do the bet. And that's when in year 12 when I was going like really good. That's when we lifted obviously the thing, made it 90 ATAR, but set high goals for yourself, Just set high goals for yourself and tell everyone. I used to announce to my accounting class that I was going to get number 1 rank. No one was going to touch me. I told the teacher, I looked her in the eyes. I was like, what student got the high study score in your class? They're like, 45 study score. I announced to the whole class I was going to get above that, and I did. Because then you're going to be an embarrassment to yourself if you don't get it. Everyone's going to be like, oh, you thought you were that guy. But yeah, make promises to yourself and fulfill that. If You're a person of your word, man or woman. Fulfill that, you know?
Yep.
And it's also about putting yourself in a situation where you're not comfortable. You
That's
know
the
what I mean?
one.
Because when you're not comfortable, you're gonna try finding that comfort again. You need to jump straight into the water and then get to the top. You know what I mean? You can't just start off slowly. Like just jump straight into it. Like you've all three of us have done in different methods, but we've all done the same thing and we've achieved really good results that we're happy with. And like this could be you. It's just all about the motivation and just not giving up next year or whenever that is.
Anything else? Yeah, so and then there's no such thing as average. You gotta always try to aim to achieve higher. And as Muslims, we already have this. We should always try our
Yeah.
best. So that's the answer for why we try so hard. Any extracurricular activities that you use to distract yourself or prevent a burnout, like on the side? Any which you guys? I know you said you went gym. I think
I played basketball with my mates for like a club, and that was so nice because again, every Tuesday, set that routine. My mom would be like, "Bro, like Anas, you spend so much time on basketball and stuff. Like you could be studying instead." But that's when I'm like, oh, "Okay, like it's fine, mom. This makes me look forward to something, and this also makes it so I have to reach certain guidelines to go basketball. Like, I would feel like I would be like, bro, I'm not going. I'm gonna skip basketball if I don't read this book or if I don't do this many questions. So, definitely invest in extracurriculars. If you literally do nothing at home except study, you're gonna be like, I need a break because at the end of the day, you're gonna need a break. And going on your phone is just you're just gonna end up, especially in our days when we just have social media like TikTok and stuff, you're just gonna endlessly scroll where you literally never reach a goal. Again, we're built to reach a goal. And in TikTok, you want to keep scrolling. Like realistically, we want an end point. At least with YouTube videos, you watch them, there's an end point, yeah. But with TikTok, I mean, even now YouTube, there's recommended, but yeah. That's all I'm gonna mention.
Just building up on like the phone point you made, I'd say using your phone is probably the worst thing you can do during like a study break.
Yeah.
Because when you're on it, like that whole device is built to keep you there. You're not gonna be able to get off it. You know what I mean? And it's just something you should stay away from, and especially stay away from using your phone in the same place that you study, like on the same table, because
For
your
sure.
brain, even though you don't realize, your brain starts associating that table with the phone. Like right now, after graduating, all right, my table, if I did anything other than studying, it felt weird. Like for the first 2 weeks, it just felt weird. I'm like, I'm sitting here, I'm meant to be studying right now, but obviously I'm not because I have nothing to study for after graduating. But like just playing Fortnite with the boys or something, I'd just be like, right, I need to hop off real quick, you know what I mean, and then hop back on later. But that is something that you should stay away from.
I mean, I'd game a bit, you know, not too much, and I would go out maybe once a week or something, you know. It wasn't anything, you know, too serious. I have to go do BJJ every Wednesday, you know. Like, I took a relax. Didn't, you know, I was studying hard. I was relaxing hard. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, for like the first 2-3 terms, I forgot about going back to the question, but first 2-3 terms, I had gym as sort of like the time off, and after that, I just played like FIFA at home or something, chuck on some career mode, and just grind it out. Yeah, find something that you enjoy that is not your phone.
So perfect advice. So you guys basically said still did something. It wasn't like you guys didn't do anything at all, and also not going on your phone. Try to minimize that because our phones are built for like attention, to make our attention as small as possible. And when we're doing deep work, that's when we need like the most attention.
Yeah.
So it's basically like our enemy.
Yeah.
So next, so who are you guys? Okay, we answered that. Was it worth it? Was all those grinding out? Was all those like? Of course, when you guys think back about it, like all that work, doing that uncomfortable stuff, always trying to do above average. Was it all worth it?
100%, man. It really changed me as an individual. It made me learn a lot about myself. It made me trust in myself a lot more. I mean, I don't regret it at all because, I mean, it's pushed me so far and I've been able to translate that into many aspects of my life. So, yeah, nothing I regret.
I mean, obviously it was worth it. When you see that number at the end of the day, you just know that it was all worth it. And like all of the stresses and stuff you had just kind of go away. So 100% is worth it.
Worth it.
Yep. We already talked about this. I mean, you got me fired up when you guys said when you opened it how much feeling you had and the feeling of proving everyone wrong. I suppose it's like a very nice feeling. So we covered how to study for English. So this one for people who did bad, and we also covered this a little bit. But if you guys have anything to talk about this, do you think someone said if they did bad in year 11 or year 10, do you think they could still, like the academic comeback, could they still?
I did horrific in year 11, so yeah, I made sure to switch it up for year 12. So yeah, if you're doing bad in year 11, you got more than enough opportunity for year 12 because your study score only starts counting in units 3 and 4. So if you're doing units 1 and 2, then you can slack off, but that doesn't give you an excuse. You know, you still got to build that discipline. You still got to do it.
Yeah. Just a little sidetrack when Zion mentioned about how we had people to prove wrong. That was half of it. I reckon it's more about proving the people who believe in you right. Yeah. So, for example, my mom believed in me. Anyone else, I'm sure you either have someone who doesn't want you to do good, but it's so much more important to prove the people that believe in you right. Because then if you don't, then what type of person are you, you know?
I also had people that believed in me. Shout out to Mr. West and Mr. Sheriff.
Yeah.
Oh, there was a bunch actually. Oh, man.
Yeah.
My bio teacher as well for year 12. Yeah. Proving people wrong and proving people right. That's kind of the goal.
Yeah,
I remember her name. I can't believe.
100%. I feel like my parents played a really big role because they've always had like high expectations of me since I was young. So it just kind of carried through into year 12. And yeah.
I think it was Mrs. Cutter. I don't know. I forgot.
Mrs. Cutter.
Yeah, I think for bio. She
Cutter.
Cutter. Nah, you're wrong for that.
Shout out Miss Khara, man.
Nah, you're wrong for that. You guys are wrong for that.
No.
Wrong for that. She was legendary, man.
Of course. So it's about, or summarize this, about, it's more like proving the people who believe in you right.
Yeah.
You know, just your loved ones, basically.
Yeah.
And it's also good to like shit on the haters as well.
No, 100%, 100%. It's a satisfying feeling, I can't lie. But yeah, you know, if you don't have that, then it's one or the other, you know?
Yeah. I kind of forgot to answer the actual question. Just waffled a bit.
Same. My bad.
Because I forgot what the question was. But 45, 53, 80, and 60, those were the 4 SAC results of me in methods in year 11. And then I came back.
Them, bro.
Yeah,
I remember them. That must have traumatized you, bro.
Bro, genuinely, but I turned into Batman after. And then end of the day, got a 42 study score in methods. So it's like, scaled to a 47. The scaling was beautiful this year.
Yeah,
it was beautiful. But yeah, there's always room for the comeback, bro. Just make sure it's not something you're just telling everyone. Because for me, I kept like the academic comeback just within myself. And obviously over time, I let my friends and stuff know that I was on the comeback. And it's just kind of stay to yourself a little bit. Like study with your friends and all that and have fun with them. But keep your goals and stuff to yourself. Like evil eye is a real thing and it can mess you up. And at certain stages, I did feel like it was messing me up a little bit. And that's kind of just when like I stopped like talking about everything to everyone basically. And it does help if you try keeping to yourself all your expectations and how well you're going.
For sure, yeah. And with that one, it's like announcing what your plans are. There was a study done on this, releases the same amount of dopamine as actually achieving your goal, like the goal that you mentioned. So if I'm saying, like I announced to everyone, I want to get a 98, like I'm planning to get a 98, guys, like this is my plan, like I'm going to study every day and stuff. You release the same amount of dopamine as when you like study every day and like get that score done. So while you may not think of it too much, that dopamine release, like you feel like that's it, your job's done because you told everyone. And while people can hold you accountable, if you don't play that right, if you don't play that card right in your hands and you tell the wrong people, they're just gonna gas you up. They're gonna be like, yeah, go for it. It is what it is. We expect this from you, something like that. And then you just so don't announce everything like you mentioned.
So basically, you work in silence.
Yeah.
That's a good because nowadays everything's show. If you
Yeah,
feel depressed, see people
exactly.
just crying and like showing themselves, and
Yeah.
basically, I think silence, working in silence is a
It's a blessing, yeah. But then again, like I said, that like what I did, like that's why I'm saying it can happen to the wrong people. What I did in accounting, saying first lesson when the teacher said like I wasn't there, like I wasn't smart, and I told her and announced to the class I was gonna get this goal. That came from a place of I need to prove her wrong. So again, you can use that as a tool, but be careful with it, you know.
Yep. So just two more questions and we'll wrap it up. So what is your day-to-days? We talked about this. So this question, you all did math methods. How do you, what's tips and tricks you would say for math methods, studying math methods?
Have a friend group and do the questions at home. Don't think, oh, I've done the first couple, I was able to do it. Do all of them. Finish the job. If you don't understand the topic, don't just, I'll learn it, I'll ask the teacher, learn it. Go home and learn it, straight up. Maybe after class, maybe ask your friends. If they don't know, you have to look it up. Don't just go, because it's going to catch up to you, If you don't understand one lesson, your next lesson comes, you still don't understand the first one, how are you going to understand the second one when they build off each other? So go home and understand it.
We talked about the importance of like discipline and stuff before. I'd say there's no subject that requires more discipline than methods, because you are going to get a lot of homework and stuff like that, chapters to do and all that. Teachers won't check any of your work in year 12. It's up to you if you want to do it or not, yeah? But you need to consider that you doing it is going to benefit only you in the end. Okay, so I'd say my advice is get ahead of the class, finish the chapters before the class goes on to it, and then when the teacher's actually teaching in class, you have two options. So for me, either if it was a chapter that I found a bit hard, I'd listen in class and it would kind of like help me learn from a different person's like perspective, or I'd just like work by myself and just just go ahead again, or I'd just play around with my mates, which was most of the time.
Yeah. And for methods, I reckon don't look at it as just rote practice. Look at it in concepts. Obviously, you still need to practice, especially for methods. But yeah, so look at stuff in concepts, because once you understand something versus just doing it, you're able to apply it to so many different scenarios and questions, such as exam twos, etc., etc.
Yeah, I'd add into that. You need to understand what you're doing. You need to
Yeah.
understand what derivatives are. You need to understand what a second derivative is. You need to understand the processes that you're doing and what you're getting at. Because if you just know the motions and you don't know what you're doing in the end result, then you've learned nothing.
One thing about methods is that every sack of yours is going to be, I'm not sure about you guys, but every single is tech active. Like every single sack, you use the CAS. But you have exam 1, exam 2. Exam 1, you're not going to have the CAS on you. So while you should be like practicing your CAS skills and all that, I do recommend also learning, because in the textbook, it's going to show you how to actually do it by hand. I'd say keep that in mind and kind of know the gist of it, because I didn't really look at the tech free part at all. So when I got to the exam, I was just kind of just like a fish out of water, you know what I mean? And it was a struggle trying to understand doing it without the CAS. And I'd say one advice would be that just be good with your CAS skills, but also know how to do it if you don't have the technology.
That's some good advices there. Be good with your CAS skills, and if you don't understand anything, go home and revise it, because if it keeps, I can relate to that. Because if you don't understand something and it keeps building up, and then you just lose the motivation to literally just go and do all of that, because it's like so much piled up together. Do you have something to say?
Oh yeah, don't let it build up, because then you're just gonna neglect it completely. I can speak for that. I can attest for that. That was my year 12 experience until like towards the end.
Yep.
So yeah.
And you said also do like tech-free questions as well.
Yep.
It's gonna help you out. And work on your CAS calculator.
Shout out
skills.
Mr. Nagan for helping us with the tech free. He really pushed that on us.
So okay. Now I'm gonna wrap it up. So Alhamdulillah, it was a very
Alhamdulillah.
knowledgeable podcast. Especially, I think this end of the podcast was way more packed. We had a lot of things you guys shared. So now, do you guys have any final messages for the audience?
You got it. If you believe in yourself, you can do it. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, you gotta believe it." Nah, it's genuine fact. If you believe in yourself, you can do it because the world is your egg. Do whatever the hell you want, bro. You know what I mean? Like, you got it. Simple.
Just it's kind of embarrassing if you don't do good. I can't lie. That's yeah. Just do good, bro. You don't want to be that guy that, for example, when me and my friends reacted to ATAR, you don't want to be that guy that's like just depressed for a week, because they didn't get the ATAR they wanted. Be that guy that everyone's like, bro, like this guy got high ATAR, like that's nice. But yeah, just don't embarrass yourself,
Something I did was at the end of year 11, I wrote down a number, like an ATAR number that I would be like content with, which I would be happy with. It was like 92 or something. I put that paper, write it down. Don't touch that paper until you finish year 12 and you get your ATAR again. That number, keep that away from you, yeah? In your mind, you're thinking, I need to get 99. Okay, I'm talking about myself, but you need to keep your expectations higher than what your actual goal is, like I mentioned before.
Yeah.
And that is really, really important. And yeah, you got this, right?
I did the exact same thing, bro. I wrote down on a piece of paper 85, but in my head I was just aiming for like 95 plus, yeah. And then when I randomly stumbled like when I got back from Morocco, I stumbled across that paper and I was like, wait, what the hell? I smashed my goal past,
Alhamdulillah.
So alhamdulillah, So that's a good thing to do. But yeah, like I said before, aim for the moon. If you don't make it to the moon, you reach for the stars. I mean, you get to the stars.
Also, when I said the world is your egg, I mean like you need to crack through and grow out of that.
Okay, so basically wrap it up. So you said the world. I mean, you get one life, bro. Like, might as well just give it your, Like,
Yeah.
you get
Everything,
one
bro.
life. Just,
That's short.
and,
Yeah.
And in Islam, we have another booster that we're meant to work as hard as we can because we know our purpose. We need Muslims to be in more of these fields, and I'm like very happy to see, lots of Muslims getting high ATARs.
Yeah.
So, if you guys have any final messages or nah?
Yeah. For example, for me, you're representing more than just yourself. For example, no one hears about like I'm the only Moroccan or like one of the only Moroccans in my area. So I want them to associate Morocco, or I want to, especially for example, if you're like a certain type, like if you're religious or something, or like anything. Again, you represent your last name. You represent like a lot of stuff. So for example, like when people want to search up your name and stuff, and the first search up is the VCE honor roll thing, like that's like it's good. It's not bad. You want your name to have some sort of good reputation behind it. So yeah, remember you're representing more than just yourself.
Yeah. And one thing I want to tell you is kind of a bit of motivation. Just imagine the look on your parents' faces when they find out how well you've done. Because for me, the look my mom had in her eyes just like made me realize that this was all worth it, like straight away.
100%.
That is what you want.
The relief that especially because I was the youngest child, the relief on my parents, my mom's face, especially when she saw that that's it, it's over, and like and because she was the only one that believed in me, she was like, the one that everyone thought was some like idiot with like that was always in his own world, that she said that like I believed in, and just seeing that relief like fall through her shoulders. It's a blessing, man. It's a blessing.
I just wanted to say one last thing. Don't only do it for your revenge. Don't only do it because everyone doubted you. Do it for your family. Do it for the people that believed in you. Because, like he said, do it for your mom. Like I know a lot of people who'll be watching this. You come from immigrant parents. You come from not the best backgrounds. It's in your hands. And imagine coming home. After all that effort, after all that hard work, you come home and you've done it, right? Like, that feeling, that emotion, yeah, that experience is something otherworldly. Yeah, I mean, I experienced it. I lived it. I tell you, man, it's something else. Yeah, you'll see in the end that it was all worth it.
And just one last thing, if you need English, chemistry, physics, methods tutoring, just your boys here.
Chemistry,
and
English,
then
bio, methods to English too.
And for further maths as well.
further.
Me mostly is accounting and biology, especially accounting. But yeah, what was I gonna? I was gonna say something. Hold on. Yeah. Also, it's more than just like in the future. You're gonna have kids, and you're gonna meet across. Your kids are gonna meet someone. They're gonna be like, oh, what's your name? And you'll be like, oh, you're such and such kid. You want your name to have like good blessings behind it. You don't want to be that guy that dropped out as a crackhead and now snorts crack out of people's bums. Like you want to be that guy. Oh, he got a high ATAR, you know, he smashed things out, you know, like, and he's doing good for his life, you know.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's all there is.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Unless, do you have anything to say, Zion? I want to see it from your
I was just gonna say there's names and there's numbers when people die. There's numbers and then there's like, oh, this guy. And Andrew Tate said this, so I'll give his credit to him.
I thought you were spitting. Like, you got to spit something. You shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah, that's about it. Like, I can't share much because you guys have experienced it.
Yeah.
Inshallah, I get to experience it too.
Inshallah, man.
I'll take on you guys' advice, and I hope everyone else is watching
Inshallah.
takes the advice. And if you want to have any tutoring or anything like that, you can hit these guys up. I appreciate you guys for coming.
Oh, good, man.
You know, these guys did it not for clout. They didn't do it for girls or money, whatever. I'm not paying them.
We already have all that, bro.
Not me. Not me. Not me.
Wahalal here.
Wait, yeah, keep going.
Halal, bro. Keep it halal, you know. But so these guys did it just for your sake, just helping out the community and stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
That's it. Yeah. And
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum
assalam.
That's crazy, bro.
Good stuff, man.
That was good, bro. Good stuff, man. Far out. I'm tired, bro.
Same, man. How are we gonna smash that gym after this, guys?
That's
Bro, you were getting cold, man.
Yeah, bro. No, it's because my mate is like
Is he
on a
good?
road trip right now and
Oh,
he gave
okay.
a cat to me.
Yeah. So he just wants to see his cat.
Another podcast, I think